Hey guys. This is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Madara's Grandson. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 15, Forest of Death. Training Ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death. It's Konoha's deadliest training ground, reserved only for Chunins and ANBU. The forest itself contains various monster and other deadly animals, from big spiders to gigantic bears and tigers. The Forest of Death is the traditional place for second round of every Chunin exam done in the Leaf. The Chunin exams are hosted in various countries and rotated. Every 3 years the Chunins happen in the Leaf. To everyone in Konoha, the Forest of Death, as the name says, it's hell and one place to don't come near. Obviously this doesn't apply to the crazy snake lady, also known as Anko. To her this place is her home away from home, and the reason she is always in charge of the second round. Of the original 200 applicants to the Chunin exams, more than half were failed in the first task. Now we are currently at the entrance of the Forest of Death. Alright maggots, welcome to my home, Training Ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death. Anko said it got the desired reactions from a few of the genin, which was fear, as they should be. Even Chunin can't wander through the forest without getting hurt. Anko spotted Naruto and noticed he wasn't affected and decided to play a little game. Anko threw a kunai that was going to slightly cut his cheek, however the kunai simply phased through Naruto and hit the ground. Naruto got a worried look and very quickly in a panic began checking himself with his hands to see if he was in one piece. "Oh good, I'm not a ghost," Naruto said and smirked when he saw everyone's looks of disbelief. Anko vanished in a blur and appeared behind Naruto with a kunai at his neck. "You seem confident. It kids like you who get killed first," Anko said, pressing her body against his back and licking his cheek. Hinata's eyebrow twitched, was about to juke the bitch away from Naruto when she saw him smirking. Naruto dissolved into a bunch of black crows that flew away and started circling Anko. The crows flew towards her and quickly turned into shuriken heading to Anko. "Genjutsu!" Kai, Anko thought, and flared her chakra, making the shuriken disappear. She looked around and found Naruto not far away, smiling at her. "Genjutsu, not bad, brat," she said. "And you don't seem scared of the forest," Anko stated. "Meh, those things are nothing compared to the furball," Naruto said, and Anko snickered. He had to have balls to call the QB furball. "I told you I am not a furball," Kurama yelled inside his mind. "Actually, you kind of are. You have fur and it's so soft and cuddly," Naruto squealed in a fangirlish way. Kurama simply sweat dropped and cursed to Kami why he had to end up in this vessel. "Alright brats, let me explain how this works. See these," Anko said and showed everyone 2 scrolls she had on her hands. "These are the Earth and Heaven scrolls. Each team gets one. In order to pass this exam you must get the other and reach the tower, which is located in the middle of the forest. You have 5 days. Anko explained. "What about food?" Choji asked, panicking over the fact they would spend 5 days in a forest surrounded by monster. "You can hunt if you didn't bring any supplies," Anko said. "Also you need to sign these documents so that Konoha can't be blamed for your deaths," she concluded, and Fuse shivered at the thought. "Oh yes, there will be deaths. Just thinking about blood makes me jump for joy," Anko said in a far too happy tone. Anko proceeded to distribute the forms, and once everyone had signed and got their scroll, each team made its way to their respective gate. Gate 10 to 5 minutes before start. "How shall we do this?" Shino asked. They decided to define their plan before the exam began. "How about we head straight to the tower? If we find any team we take them out, otherwise we can set traps for them at the tower," Naruto said, and Shino and Hinata nodded. "Shino, do you think you can keep up and run for 10 miles? Naruto asked. "It should be fine," Shino replied. "Okay, get set. 3, 2, 1. Geo," Anko said over the speaker, and Team 8 jumped into action, running through the gates and heading towards the tower. "Kagabushin no Jutsu," Naruto said, and appeared 15 clones. "Divide into 5 teams and scout ahead while one stays behind to make sure we have a backup plan in case we fall into a trap," Naruto ordered, and 4 groups of clones ran in the front and to the sides while 1 group would follow behind them. "Hinata, use your Byakugan just to make sure no one bypasses my clones," Naruto said, and Hinata nodded, activating her Byakugan. Naruto also extended his senses, and Shino used his bugs. Team 8 were, among other things, tracking experts, so nothing came close to them without they knowing. They ran through the woods until Naruto got a feedback from one of his clones. Aim team 100 meters ahead, Naruto said, and everyone approached with caution. Team 8 stealthily approached the unsuspecting AIM team. Naruto and Hinata took a few Saban, and with the precision of insurgent they placed the three members into a death-like state by hitting them in the neck with the Saban. They reached the fallen AIM team and went through their bags until they found the Earth Scroll. Nice, just the one we need. Let's go to the tower full speed. If you can't, I'll carry you, Shino, Naruto said, and Shino shook his head. They were heading to the tower at full speed when Team 8 sensed a massive chakra spike. That is no Genin, and no Jinchuriki, Naruto said, and the team came to a stop looking to where it came from. I'm going to check it out. You guys go to the tower. You have my Hiraishin marker if you need help. Once I'm done, I'll teleport to your location, Naruto said. Why? Hinata asked. It might be one of ours that is in trouble, Naruto replied and prepared to jump away. Be careful, Hinata said. It kissed his cheek. For luck, she said. Don't worry, Naruto replied and jumped into the woods. Seconds later he was gone. Hinata sighed and the rest of Team 8 was heading to the tower. Naruto was running towards the location of the chakra spike when he sensed two presences near him. He checked their chakra levels and found that one was around Jonin while the other had Kage levels reserves. He recognized the Jonin's chakra. It was Anko. However, the other was unknown. He never felt that chakra anywhere in the leaf, and there wasn't anyone in the village with that much amount of chakra except himself and the Hokage. Naruto approached them with extreme caution. He could hear them talk, and Anko seemed angry and scared. Anko's scared was not a good thing. Anko-chan, how you've been? The other voice asked in a mocking tone. What are you doing here, Orochimaru? Anko asked, spitting his name. Orochimaru, shit, Naruto thought as he continued to observe and jump in if necessary. I was just dropping off a gift to a promising genin, Orochimaru cryptically said. You didn't? Anko rhetorically asked. Why so mad, Anko-chan? Didn't you like my gift? Orochimaru asked. Anko got enough of his. She drew a kunai and rushed him. Orochimaru placed his hand in the tiger seal and activated her curse mark, making her fall into the ground screaming in pain. You forget your place, Orochimaru said. Sanaijishu, hidden snake hands, Orochimaru said and extended his arm towards Anko, sending a couple of snakes to bite her. Katan, Hozenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Fire Technique, Naruto said and sent multiple small fireballs towards the snakes and destroyed them. Naruto jumped in between Orochimaru and Anko. He approached her and noticed she was clutching her neck. Naruto saw that in her neck was a strange mark that seemed to glow. Curse mark, Naruto thought. My, a little genin came to her rescue. How cute, Orochimaru said in a mocking tone. Any ideas, Fox? Naruto asked. That snake must be here for some reason. Any real fight here would attract too much attention. Flare my chakra and try to hold him off, Kurama suggested, and Naruto flared the Kyuubi's chakra high enough to draw attention to any Umbu patrolling the area. Kyuubi brat? Orochimaru thought. My, if it isn't the Kyuubi brat, I guess I can play for a while, Orochimaru said. Orochimaru, what are you doing here? Naruto asked, trying to buy some time. Snakes tend to be slippery. So you know me? I'm honored, Orochimaru said, chuckling. I'm here to leave a small gift to the Uchiha, he said. Gift? You call a damn curse seal a gift? Naruto asked, getting mad. Stay focused, Kit. He isn't someone who you can play around, Kurama said. Of course it's a gift. When he destroys the sound team I sent to kill him, he will realize the power that comes from it, Orochimaru said. Sasuke. You bastard, you already did this to Anko and now Sasuke, Naruto said and rushed towards Orochimaru and engaged in taijutsu. A little hot-headed, aren't you? Orochimaru asked. Naruto smirked and said Katsu, and his clone exploded, sending Orochimaru crashing into a tree. Now that was surprising, Orochimaru said as he watched Naruto leave the bush he was hiding. What do you want Sasuke for? Naruto asked. I simply wish his eyes, Orochimaru said. The Sharingan? Then it would be wise to hide mine. I don't want a pedophile after me, Naruto thought, and once again rushed him for a taijutsu battle. Orochimaru simply dodged every single attack Naruto did by bending his body to unnatural angles. Is this it? Orochimaru asked in a taunting tone. It's time for the big guns, Naruto thought and took a whole different stance. He activated his EMS and hid it. His face was completely emotionless with his cold blue eyes staring into Orochimaru. Katan Karyudan no Jutsu, Fire Dragon Bullet, Naruto said and sent fire bullets to Orochimaru, who simply dodged them all. Naruto decided to use a wide-range attack. He made a Kagebushin and both said, Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Dragon Fire Technique, Futon de Tapa, Great Breakthrough. The result was a big wide area of effect stream of fire that rushed Orochimaru and torched the surroundings area. Anko just watched in wonder. There were some jonin what couldn't even do these without passing out from chakra exhaustion. The fire died down and Naruto watched Orochimaru as he slowly crumbled away until he poofed in smoke, revealing it to be a Kawarimi. Naruto searched around and sensed Orochimaru just in time to jump away from a hand that shot out of the ground trying to catch him. Orochimaru resurfaced and Naruto appeared behind him as well. Raikiri, Lightning Cutter! Naruto yelled as he rose from the ground and went to stab Orochimaru through the chest. Orochimaru didn't expect such a technique from a genin and quickly got out of the way. However, he wasn't fast enough and the Raikiri managed to chop his right arm off. This brat is dangerous. If I hadn't dodged, he could have killed me, Orochimaru thought as he observed Naruto, who wasn't even showing signs of stopping. My, you are really something. It's a shame you can't be my next vessel, Orochimaru said as he opened his mouth to inhuman proportions and spied out another Orochimaru, leaving the skin of the old behind. What the fuck are you? Naruto asked, getting a little disgusted as Orochimaru just spied himself from inside himself. It's been fun, but I must go now. See you around, Orochimaru said and sank into the ground. He decided to leave as he sensed two groups on Anbu incoming. Naruto turned to Anko, who had an amazed look on. You okay, Anko? He asked. Holy shit, brat, that was amazing, Anko yelled, but quickly recoiled in pain just the Anbu dropped by, accompanied by the Sandaime. Naruto-kun, what happened? The Hokage asked. He was wearing his full battle gear that primarily consisted of a full tight black body suit with metal shields in his arms and legs. Orochimaru is here and I think he activated Anko's curse mark, Naruto said, and the Hokage's eyes widened. What is doing here? The Hokage asked to himself, but loud enough for Naruto to hear. He's after the Sharingan of Sasuke. I believe he gave him the curse mark as well, Naruto explained, and the old man sighed. His prodigy of a student turned to be his greatest mistake. Take Anko to the hospital, the Hokage said, and the Anbu vanished. Naruto, do you have the scrolls? He asked, and Naruto nodded. But I'll go after Sasuke. Orochimaru sent a sound team to kill him, Naruto said. Alright, be careful. I already risked a good lot by interfering in the exams, the Hokage said, and left the forest. Naruto made Kagebushins and spread them through the forest as wide as he could so he could find Sasuke as quickly as possible. Naruto ran through the forest as quickly as he could, covering the area he could. 1 hour later he finally sensed Sakura's chakra signature. He could sense Sasuke's, but he felt it was slightly different and weaker. He arrived where Sakura was and noticed it was a mayhem going on. Sakura was on the ground with her hair cut in half and multiple kunai wounds. Lee was also there, but he bleeding from his ears and a few bruises. Team 10 seemed to be trying to hold off the sound team, but to no avail, and finally Kiba, who was in the ground apparently knocked out cold. Pathetic, all of you, Dosu said, smirking as he picked up kunai and made his way towards Sasuke to kill him, and no one could stop him. Naruto shined in front of him, and quickly delivered a good kick to him that sent him into the ground. Everyone was happy to see that someone had arrived to help, even if it was Naruto. Another one, these guys just keep coming, Zaku said, getting pissed off. Every time they tried to kill the Uchiha, someone got in the way. Why don't you just leave? You are no match for me, Naruto said, smirking. I'll get that smile out of your face. Dosu snickered and flexed his arm, showing his gauntlet. Melody arm, Dosu said as he channeled chakra to his arm. Naruto, who had his Sharingan activated, could see the sound waves filled with chakra. That can't be good. Kamui, Naruto thought. Dosu sensed as the waves traveled the air and hit Naruto, only to do nothing. Naruto waited a few seconds and noticed everyone was stopped and looking between him and Dosu. Was that supposed to do something? Naruto asked, inwardly smirking. The rest of rookies that were awake stared at the blonde. Lee was taken down with that jutsu, and yet Naruto remained there as if nothing happened. That gauntlet must be defective. I'll deal with this, Zaku said and stepped forward intending to end the battle in one attack. Zankuha decapitating air waves, Zaku said and channeling chakra through his arms he sent a gust of wind towards Naruto. Naruto stood in place and activated his Kamui to let the attack pass through him. Zaku watched as the dust cloud started to disappear only to find Naruto in the same place. What a nice breeze, Naruto said smirking. Zaku got mad and channeled as much chakra as he could through the pipes that ran deep beneath the skin. Zankyo Kuku extreme decapitating air waves, Zaku said and sent a powerful gust of wind towards the enemy. Naruto watched the gust come and noticed he had to take Sasuke and Kiba out of the way. He rushed towards them and activated his Kamui to protect them as well. Once the attack was over and the dust cloud set down, Zaku smirked as he scanned the area he attacked only to find nothing. I blew them to little bits, Zaku said smirking with confidence. Raikiri. Zaku turned just in time to see a hand covered in lightning pierce through his chest and heart. Zaku gave a silent scream that didn't leave his mouth as he fell to the ground dead. Dosu and Kin's eyes widened at seeing his teammate fall to the ground dead. The blonde kid was playing with them the whole time. The blonde had killed Zaku with one attack and they didn't even saw him move. If you give us the scroll you can leave peacefully, Naruto said in an emotionless tone. The rookies just watched as Naruto effortlessly killed the shinobi they were having trouble with. Sakura was trembling with fear from both the sound team and the arrival of Naruto. He had just killed someone in cold blood. He pierced someone's chest with his own hand. Dosu was trembling as he picked his scroll and left it in the ground, and quickly left running along with his last teammate Kin. How nice of you to join us, Neji, Naruto said as he sensed the teammates of Lee arrived at the scene. What happened here? What did you do to Lee? Neji asked, activating his Byakugan and getting ready to attack until he got his answers. Suddenly a blast of chakra was felt by everyone in the area. They all turned to see Sasuke slowly rising up with some sort of purple chakra swirling around him. His body was covered in some sort of black tattoo. Yes, with this power I'll kill him, Sasuke said to no one. He could feel the power coursing through his body. A gift from Orochimaru. Sasuke looked around for someone to test his new powers in and quickly locked eyes with Naruto, who was standing near a dead body. Naruto, fight me, I want to test my new powers, Naruto commanded and quickly rushed Naruto and engaged in a taijutsu battle. Sasuke-kun, stop this, Sakura said, crying in the ground. This was all too much for her. She had to defend Sasuke and Kiba and got crushed. She watched as someone bit Sasuke in the neck and gave him some strange marking, and she was watching Sasuke apparently out of control. I don't have time for this. I can't allow him to use this curse mark any longer, Naruto thought. Naruto quickly outmaneuvered Sasuke and got behind, trapping him with his arms. Neji, do you mind? Naruto rhetorically asked. Neji smirked and got down from the tree. He arrived near the Uchiha, activated his Byakugan, and quickly knocked him out by closing a few key tenketsus. Naruto sighed. Now that everything is more calm, let's leave this place. Everyone has their scrolls? Naruto asked and everyone nodded. Okay. Everyone touch a part of me and let's leave, Naruto said, and they just stared at him. He wanted them to touch him. What do you mean touch you? Neji asked, narrowing his eyes. Just place a hand on my shoulder or something like that. Neji, pick up Lee. Sakura, pick up Sasuke and Kiba, Naruto said, and everyone got ready around Naruto. They all vanished, and in what seemed to be an instant they all dropped down near the tower where Hinata and Shino were sighted waiting for Naruto. Geez, teleporting so many with me really takes a good chunk of chakra, Naruto thought as he regained his breath. Naruto, Hinata said, a rush to check him. What happened? She asked. Team 7 got ambushed by Orochimaru, he replied, and she gasped. Naruto, how did you bring us to the tower so fast? Tenten asked curiously. Naruto started sweating. He didn't think much about it. It would be a mess if they found out already. It's a space-time technique like the summoning jutsu. I can teleport to Hinata, Naruto explained, hoping they would believe in him and not ask too many questions. She nodded and everyone entered the tower only to find an empty room. I think we should open the scrolls, Hinata said, and Naruto opened the scrolls. He opened them and saw it was a summoning scroll. Quick, toss them in the ground, Naruto yelled as the scrolls started to leak out smoke. Both scrolls disappeared in the middle of the smoke. When it cleared, there was a person standing in the middle of the room. Congratulations on passing the second round, she said. Team 8 looked up to see Kurenai standing in front of them. Sensei, everyone said at the same time. Come on, let's get inside. You and the rest of Leaf's teams were the second to arrive. Only the Sand team is already here. You have 4 days to rest and get your strength back up, Kurenai said and lead her team into the respective rooms where they would be staying. Chapter 16, Preliminaries. Team 8 was walking towards their assigned rooms. Since they completed the second task of the Chunin exams in 1 day, they could relax and recover during the 4 available days. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, getting Naruto's attention. If I had to fight Gaara, do you think I could win? She asked. They continued walking and Naruto was thinking. After a few minutes he decided to reply. I don't really know what he can do, but when we met him, he had sand around him and apparently he is the son of the 4th Kazekage, so he probably can control sand with his chakra. Since you are a water type, you can drench his sand in water to make it slower and more chakra demanding to use, forcing him to waste more chakra. But if he decides to use his bija, then I think you would lose. Unless you do that trick I taught you, he said, grinning. I guess you're right, she replied. Shino just heard the conversation with interest. This year there was a lot of tough competition. His bugs wouldn't much against a bijou, since primarily he uses them to drain the enemy's chakra, and draining a bijou might take a while. They arrived to their room and found it a standard room. It had 3 single beds, a small bathroom, a small desk with chairs and a window. Do you think you will be able to sleep without me? Naruto said, grinning. Oh, I'm not sleeping without you, she said, walking towards him. If you hold me close enough, I think we will be just fine, she replied and kissed him. I like the idea, he said, smiling and holding her. Want to go eat something? He asked and she nodded. Hey Shino, want to come? He asked and the bug boy simply nodded. They finished unpacking and left their stuff in the room. Team 8 got out of the room and walked throughout the hall, heading towards the other floors. The tower in the middle of the Death Forest was relatively small. It had 5 floors. The first was reception in the arena, the second was the kitchen, the third and fourth floors were the rooms and bathrooms, and the last floor was the administrative and surveillance room. They made their way down the floors and quickly found the kitchen. There was plenty of food already prepared due to the Chunin exams. They entered the kitchen and noticed that they weren't alone. Inside the kitchen there was the Sand team. Hey Gaara, Naruto said, waving as he entered the kitchen. Both Kankuro and Temari instantly stiffened as they knew that Gaara could flip at any time. Hinata and Shino were just a bit weary of them. Uzumaki Naruto, Gaara said, eyeing Naruto carefully. You interest me, he said. Sorry, but I don't swing that way, besides I already have a girlfriend, Naruto said, chuckling and kissing Hinata's cheek. Gaara's eye twitched at his statement. Temari and Kankuro were wondering if all Leaf shinobis had a death wish. Mother will have your blood and then everyone will acknowledge my existence, Gaara with a sick smile. Mother? You do realize Shikaku is male, right? Naruto asked. And you don't have to kill to have people noticing you, he finished. It doesn't matter, once I kill you I shall forever prove my existence, Gaara said. You want people to acknowledge you, then find people to protect. Instead of killing them, fight to protect them, and those few precious people will acknowledge you forever, Naruto explained. You fight to protect people? Gaara asked. Yes, that is right. Your true strength emerges when you fight to protect those you care about, Naruto said. Fool, we are nothing but murderers. We live to kill. We are weapons, Gaara said. Kankuro and Temari were listening to the conversation and wondering if they should leave because this conversation seemed to be heating up. I never considered myself a weapon, Naruto said. You are a fool and I shall prove it to you. Once I kill you everyone will notice my existence, Gaara said. Fine then. When we meet of the arena I shall prove to you that acknowledgement comes from people that care about you, Naruto said, and he and his team left the room, leaving a thirsty Gaara behind. Hey Haim, I'm going to talk with Anko, I'll meet you later, Naruto said. Alright, see you later, she replied and gave him a quick kiss. Floor 5 surveillance room. Naruto separated from his team and headed towards the 5th floor. He walked towards said room and knocked on the door. He opened it, and in the room there was the Hokage, Anko, Ibiki, and a few Chunins. Something you need, Naruto-kun? The Hokage asked as he watched the blonde enter the room. Can I talk to you in private with Anko? Naruto asked, and the Anko raised an eyebrow, wondering what the kid wanted. Of course, the Hokage replied and made a gesture for everyone to leave the room except Anko. Naruto flashed through a few hand seals and said, Sound barrier seal. There was a small flash of light and suddenly vanished. Anko was surprised by seeing a genin using these types of seals. But she knew what kind of life Naruto had lived, and if he wanted to survive he would have to pick up his pace. Now then, I would like to check out that cursed seal if you don't mind, Naruto said, and Anko involuntarily brought her to her neck. Why do you want to see it? She asked. She didn't like talking about her past. I want to know if I'm capable of removing it, Naruto said, and Anko started laughing. Kid, I'll give you that you are strong, but this seal can't be removed, Anko regretfully said. Any seal can be broken, Naruto said. Have faith, besides it doesn't hurt to try. Come on Anko, you don't know but Naruto is a seal master, the Hokage said. Anko raised an eyebrow and watched him carefully. You are telling me this kid is a seal master? The only one in the leaf is Jiraiya of the Sannin, and even he already tried, Anko said. Yes, he's telling you the truth. He already provided our village with a few seals of his own. Improved exploding tags, remotely detonated tags, and his own creation flash tags, the Hokage explained. Anko still had her doubts. I'll make a bet with you. If I can't remove it, I'll pay you an all-you-can-eat at the dango shop. However, if I can remove it, you do the same for me in the ramen stand, he said, grinning. Fine, Anko said, sighing, and removed her coat so Naruto could more easily have access to her curse mark. Naruto activated his Sharingan to perfectly memorize the seal. He placed his fingers on the curse mark and channeled a bit of chakra. He noticed the mark slightly glow and made Anko slightly wince. It must be tuned to Orochimaru's chakra signature, Naruto thought. Anko, I need you to activate the curse seal, please, Naruto said, and stayed watching her chakra network carefully with his Sharingan to notice the changes. Fine, she replied. Anko channeled chakra to her curse seal, and it began spreading across her whole body. Black markings were originating from the seal and spreading across her skin, reaching the whole body. Naruto watched carefully with his Sharingan, analyzing every small change. Interesting, Naruto said, and closed his eyes. What do you think, Kurama? Can we force your chakra into the seal to break it? Naruto asked. Forcing my chakra would destroy the curse seal, but would most likely badly poison her. She wouldn't survive without a very good medic around, Kurama replied. Naruto opened his eyes and saw both of them staring at him. I was talking to the fur ball about it, Naruto said. You can talk to it? Anko asked. Yes, but it's not an IT, it's a him, Naruto replied seriously. Anyway, I could force the Kyuubi's chakra to it and destroy it, but it would poison you. It would require Ba-chan herself to be able to stabilize you long enough to remove it, Naruto explained. Ba-chan? Anko asked. My grandmother Tsunade, Naruto replied. Holy shit, you are her grandson? Anko half yelled. Tsunade was a legend among all of Kunoichi. She was what every Kunoichi wanted to be. Strong and beautiful, and with the right, assets. Yes, but keep it to yourself. Now I noticed that the seal, besides leaking chakra, it also sends a few chemicals to the bloodstream, most likely to create addiction and increasing the body's stamina and strength. Either way, I would need Ba-chan to remove it, either using the Kyuubi or not, Naruto said, and he could see the frown on her face. Tsunade had left the village years ago. There is one thing I can do, be right back, Naruto said, and vanished in a yellow flash. The Hokage's and Anko's eyes widened. They hadn't seen that flash in over 14 years. Was that? Anko stuttered. The Hokage managed to regain sense and asked, Now do you believe me? Anko only managed to dumbly nod. A few minutes later, Naruto reappeared in the room with a large scroll in his hands. Naruto placed the scroll on the ground and opened it to show a very big and complex sealing array. Anko, sit in the middle of the scroll, please, Naruto said, and got a look of confusion. He sighed and continued. I may not be able to remove the seal alone, but I can place a restriction and block seal that will permanently lock away the seal. Basically, you would have to force chakra to the seal to activate it, and you will no longer have the constant pain, Naruto explained, and Anko quickly sat in the scroll. Alright, let's do it, Anko said, getting ready for the constant pain to leave her. It may hurt a little bit while the seal is applied, Naruto said. I'm used to pain, Anko said. Okay. Naruto walked up to Anko and placed his hand in her curse mark. A few seconds later, kanji erupted from his hands and spread across Anko and the scroll. Ready? Naruto asked, and she nodded. Fuja Hoin, evil sealing method, Naruto said, and in an instant all the kanji began rushing towards his hand that was placed in her cursed seal. Anko bit her lip in pain, but she could handle it. After a few minutes all the kanji reached the cursed seal and formed a ring around the cursed seal as if locking it. Naruto removed his hand and Anko relaxed. "We are done. How do you feel?" Naruto asked. A second later Anko was all over him, kissing and pressing her body against his, much to the jealousy of the old Hokage, who had a trickle of blood flowing in his nose. "Okay, Anko, I have a girlfriend, you know?" Naruto rhetorically asked. "Don't worry, kid. Besides, it was my way to say thank you. Even though it's still here, it no longer hurts. I can barely feel it on my neck," Anko said, happy. "Don't mention it." Naruto started. "Hey Gigi, do you think you could bring Sasuke here for me to do the same to him?" Naruto asked. The Hokage nodded and said, "Bore." Immediately in front of him appeared an Anbu and kneeling before him. "Hi Hokage-sama," the Anbu said. "Bring me Uchiha Sasuke," the Hokage ordered, and the Anbu left. Naruto turned to the Hokage. "Do you think he will accept to have it blocked?" Naruto asked. "Why wouldn't he?" the Hokage said, raising an eyebrow. "You do realize he intends to kill his brother, right?" Naruto asked, and the Hokage nodded. "And do you think he will gladly forget this power?" Naruto asked. "I see your point, but I have faith he will do the right choice," the old Hokage said. "He's naive." "All Uchihas must burn," Kurama said, chuckling evilly. "What the hell, Kurama? I have Uchiha blood!" Naruto screaming. "You and your father are different. You are not power-hungry fools, and you are not arrogant, well, except when you are in the middle of battles," Kurama said. "I only say that stuff to piss the enemy off. If he gets angry, he will make mistakes I will capitalize on," Naruto replied. They waited for a few minutes until the Anbu appeared in the room, followed by a pissed-off Sasuke who, by the looks of it, just woke up from his Neji's-induced sleep. "What do you want?" Sasuke said, glaring at Naruto. "We need you to sit in the middle of the scroll to seal your curse mark," Naruto answered. "Why would I want to do that?" "I need this power," Sasuke said. "Idiot. You would be willing to be used as a puppet so that you could kill your brother?" Naruto asked. "Shut up. You don't know anything, and I would gladly give my life if it meant to kill him," Sasuke said, and Naruto just shook his head. "Fine. Sit in the scroll anyway. Since for now it's impossible to remove the curse seal safely without killing the host, I'm applying a suppression seal that allows for the host to have better control over the seal," Naruto explained, and Sasuke smirked. "You shouldn't use it. I can see that the host tends to develop an addiction to its power," Naruto explained, and Sasuke simply shrugged it off. "It was a gift, and I intend to use it," Sasuke said, and Naruto shook his head. "This might hurt a little," Naruto said, but didn't mind much. He did the same steps as for Anko and placed his hand on his cursed seal. "Fujihoin, evil sealing method," Naruto said. Sasuke screamed for a few minutes, and when it was completed he fell to the floor unconscious. "Bore, take him to him room. He must be exhausted from the forest of death," the Hokage said, and the Anbu took off. "See you guys in 4 days," Naruto said, and left the room, followed by a very happy Anko. "You would be so proud of your son Minato, Kushina," the Hokage thought as he also left the room. He had preparations to do for the finals. 4 days later, the next 4 days went by without any trouble, and they were boring as hell. They weren't allowed to leave the tower until the end of second phase of the Chunin exams. During these 4 days a few more teams arrived to the tower. As he expected, the team from Taki and Kumo also arrived. Every competitor was summoned to the arena and filled it facing the Hokage. The arena room was pretty much empty. The room had a giant statue with a shinobi doing the ram hand seal. There were 2 balconies, one in each side of the room for the spectators. Behind the statue was a big electric board. "First, I must congratulate you all for passing the second round of the Chunin exams," the Hokage said, and a few smirked, thinking they were the best. "Now T-dash," the Hokage started, but was interrupted by another shinobi. "Do you mind if I continue, Hokage-sama?" said Shinobi asked, and the Hokage shook his head. "My name is Gecko Hate, and I'm the proctor of this part of Chunin exams," Hate said. He had short brown hair and dark markings under his eyes. Even though he was a young man, he had pronounced lines under his eyes as well as an unexplained chronic cough that plagued him. He wore the standard Konoha shinobi outfit, complete with a forehead protector that he wore as a bandana, flak jacket, and regular shinobi sandals. He also carried a katana with a rectangular hand guard strapped over his back. Before we can proceed, we will need to have preliminary matches, Hate said, and the genins erupted in protest. What do you mean by preliminary matches? Kiba asked. We didn't expect this many people to pass the exam, so we have to thin out the contestants. During the third phase of the exam, many nobles will assist the matches, and their time is precious to not be unnecessarily wasted. Hate explained, and a few were against it. Why should we risk our lives for this? Someone yelled. I think you misunderstand the meaning of the Chunin exams, the Hokage said, and everyone turned to face him. The Chunin exams are used to promote promising genins to Chunin, however, there is somewhat of an underlying objective. The Chunin exams are a substitute for war and to prove that the country that is competing is strong. The strength of a village is the strength of their shinobi, and the strength of their shinobi only flourishes in life and death battles. The Hokage explained. By having shinobi compete in the Chunin exams, the country can prove their strength, which will award them a higher number of missions, bringing more wealth to the village. The Hokage concluded. Before we begin, is there anyone who wishes to forfeit? Hate asked, and no one stepped forward. Very well, we shall begin now. The match ends by either knockout, death, or impairment. If I declare the winner, the match ends immediately, understood? Hate said, eyeing them seriously, and everyone nodded. The names will appear on that electric board randomly. Hate explained as the board started shuffling through names. Since we have an odd number of contestants, one of you will advance immediately to the third round of the Chunin exams. Hate explained as the board went random names. Sabaku no Kankuro will have a free pass. Hate said. Lucky. I can go to the finals without showing my skills. Kankuro thought. The board started going through new names until it stopped. Will Uchiha, Sasuke, and Renazumi step forward? The rest of you please go to the balconies. Hate explained, and everyone left the arena except Sasuke and Azumi, who were staring at each other. In the balcony. Go, Sasuke-kun. Sakura yelled, cheering for her Uchiha. Might as well see if I learn anything, Naruto said, activating his Sharingan, and proceeded to analyze the matches. Uchiha Sasuke vs Renazumi. Fighters ready? Hate asked, and both nodded. Hajime. Hate said, and jumped back. As soon Hate started the match, Sasuke rushed towards the enemy, went for a low kick. As Sasuke expected, Azumi jumped up, and Sasuke took this opportunity to quickly continue his rotation, and placing a kick his Azumi's stomach, making him fly to the ground. Give up, you are no match for the Uchihas, Sasuke smugly said. Azumi slowly got up and cleaned his lip that got busted when he crashed into the ground. Azumi, angered by being bested in that little skirmish, quickly made hand seals and said, Doton Earth Spikes, slamming his hands on the ground. The ground in front of Azumi rose slightly and threw a few rock spikes at Sasuke with moderate speed. Sasuke quickly dodged all of them and yelled, Katan, Hozenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Fire Technique, and sent multiple small fireballs towards the enemy. Azumi didn't have the skill to dodge them all and took one to his left leg and another to his shoulder, leaving him in the ground slightly burned and in pain. Winner, Uchiha Sasuke. Medics, Hate said, and Sasuke smugly smirked and made his way up to the balcony near his team while medics went to heal Azumi. Didn't even need Sharingan, Sasuke thought. Congratulations, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said with stars in her eyes as she watched her beloved Sasuke-kun making his way up the stairs. At least the only fangirls that are here are Ino and Sakura, Naruto said, and got glares from both Ino and Sakura. You know, Naruto-kun, I'm a fangirl, she said, and Naruto rose an eyebrow. You are? Kurenai asked. Of course. I'm Naruto's fangirl. Cough cough, Hinata started and cleared her voice. Asterisk squeal asterisk, oh Naruto-kun is so cool, will you go out with me? She asked with stars in her eyes and her best puppy dog face. I can't say no to you, Haim, Naruto said, laughing, and kissed her. Kurenai just sweat dropped and Kakashi chuckled at their antics. I seriously need a boyfriend, Ino said with stars in her eyes, watching both of them. Congratulations, Sasuke, Kakashi said. Sasuke grunted, making Sakura squeal in delight. They watched the board go another set of random names. Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino, please step into the arena to begin your match, Hate said. A/N, like canon, not even going to bother with this. Due to both contestants being unconscious, I declare this match a tie, Hate said. Fangirls, Yugito started. The disgrace of the Kunoichi. If they spent more time training instead of drooling over the Uchiha over there, they wouldn't be slapping each other. It's just sad, Yugito said, and everyone nodded, agreeing with her. At least you learned how to properly slap someone, Naruto said, and everyone's sweat dropped. Sabaka no Gaara and Miwa Fuji, please step into the arena to begin your match, Hate said, and Gaara used his traditional sand shunshin to the arena while his opponent jumped off. Sabaka no Gaara vs Miwa Fuji. Ready? Hate asked. Fuji nodded, and in Gaara's case Sand left his gourd and started dancing around him. Hajime, the proctor said, and jumped away. He could sense the rise in Gaara's bloodlust. Sand shuriken, Gaara immediately said, and sent 10 shurikens he made with his sand towards the enemy. Fuji didn't expect such a sudden attack and made a very risky evasion maneuver by ducking to the ground. Fuji was rising when he noticed his feet were caught in something. He looked down and saw sand wrapped around his feet and quickly rising. Fuji tried to struggle to get free, but it seemed the more he struggled the quicker it wrapped around him. Not even 5 seconds later Fuji was completely covered in sand. Sand coffin, Gaara said as he brought his open hand up. He suddenly closed his hand and said, Sand funeral? Gaara closed his hand into a fist, and immediately the sand around Fuji compressed, completely crushing him. Fuji exploded in a shower of blood that covered almost all the arena. Winner, Sabaka no Gaara. Hate said, a little disgusted as someone could kill this easily, even more in a tournament. Hek killed him, Sakura said as she had awakened up just in time to see the bloody end. Fuji, Fu murmured to herself. Even though, in her village, only Shibuki liked her, she still wouldn't want to kill anyone or wish their death for that fact. That Tanuki always wanted destruction. He still is insane, Kurama said to Naruto. I guess I need to defeat him if we face off to prove my point, Naruto replied. Uzumaki, you will be mine, Gaara almost yelled, pointing to our favorite blonde standing in the balcony. I already told you I don't swing that way, Naruto said, and that phrase pissed Gaara off as she shot a wave of sand towards him. Naruto watched the sand came to him, and before anyone could react, the sand wrapped around him and immediately crushed him. Naruto, Kakashi yelled, and watched his little brother getting crushed to death. Gaara smiled as he finally got this precious blood offering to her mother. He quickly removed his sand to show an untouched Uzumaki. Naruto. Did you do something? Naruto asked. The reactions were very different. Kakashi sighed in relief. Temari and Kankuro had their jaws on the floor as they saw the blonde unhurt. Yugito stared at the blonde suspiciously. To her he was truly an enigma. Naruto made a quick sealless shunshin and landed right in front of Gaara. He proceeded to plant a very firm kick in his stomach and sent him flying to the wall. The sand wasn't quick enough to protect, and everyone could see small cracks appear in his skin. He hit Gaara, Kankuro said, flabbergasted. He never saw his brother get hit for that fact, and yet this blonde kid just appears in front of him and gives him a kick like it was nothing. So you do have another defensive sand layer, Naruto said as he watched Gaara get up and the cracks disappear. Enough, the voice of the Hokage roared through the room, instantly putting everyone in attention. Naruto, stand down, and you, the Hokage said, pointing to Baki the Sand Team Jonin. Control your students, or we will discipline them for you. Apologies, Hokage-sama, Baki said, bowing to the Hokage. That Gaara almost ruined everything. A/N, Tenten vs Temari Cannon style. Hyuga Neji and Akimichi Chuji, please step into the arena to begin your match, Hate said, and Chuji got kinda scared, but nonetheless they both made their way down. Hajime, Hate said. As soon as the proctor started the match, Neji activated his Byakugan and charged at Chuji. Chuji panicked and started a sloppy Nikuden Sasha, human bullet tank. Chuji started spinning and going with good speed against Neji. Neji watched him approach and quickly made a plan. Neji dodged to the side and placed his foot in front of Chuji's path. This action made Chuji bump into his foot and rise into the air, quickly losing his stance and ending the technique and allowing Neji to give him a few good juken strikes that left him unconscious on the ground. Winner, Hyuga Neji, Hate said. It was his fate to lose to me, Neji smugly said. Neji walked up the stair and was congratulated by Tenten. He didn't know it, but she had a crush on him, but even with his superior eyesight he was too blind to see it. Hyuga Hinata vs Karui of Kumo, please step into the arena to begin your match, Hate said. Hinata was leaving when Naruto pulled her back and gave her a small kiss on the cheek. For luck, he said, and she smiled. I know you don't like Kumo, but don't go overboard, Naruto whispered to her ear, and she nodded. Hyuga Hinata vs Karui of Kumo. Ready? Hate asked, and seeing both nod he said, Hajime. My lucky day, I get to face a Hyuga, Karui said, and got a confused look from Hinata. What I mean is that the Hyugas specialize too much on taijutsu. If I keep my distance, you can't do anything. I wonder why our former Raikage wanted your bloodline so much, Karui said. Hinata frowned. You know, I was the one that was kidnapped that day, she said, and Karui raised an eyebrow. So that means that you are the heiress. My lucky day, I get to kick your ass and prove that the Hyugas are worthless, Karui said, smirking. Hinata chuckled sadly. I'm no longer the heiress or a Hyuga for that matter, Hinata replied. I don't understand, Karui said. What I meant is that I no longer belong to the Hyuga clan. My father deemed too weak to be the heiress of the clan, so he branded me with the caged bird seal and disavowed me from the clan, Hinata explained, and a few on the stands gasped. Balcony. That's cruel, to leave your daughter because she's weak, Ino said. She wondered what would happen if that happened to her. Kurenai seethed her teeth. When she found out, she wanted nothing more than strangle that Hayashi. To do that to his own family, no wonder he sent his own brother to his death. Hyuga Hinata versus Karui of Kumo. Karui didn't say anything. She never knew that the Hyugas would be so cold and uncaring. She heard about that they were arrogant and stoic, but this was a new low. In the end, I should be grateful to you. Hinata started, and seeing Karui's confused look, she continued. If you didn't kidnap me, Naruto-kun wouldn't have saved me, and maybe my father would never have expelled me. The last few years I've spent with Naruto-kun were my happiest time. My father never showed love or compassion of any sort, so I guess in the end everything worked out for the best. Hinata concluded, showing a small yet true smile. Naruto-kun, you mean that blonde kid? Karui asked, pointing to our favorite blonde watching in the balcony. Why are you calling me kid? We are the same age, Naruto stated from the balcony. Yes, he was the one that found me when I was being kidnapped and managed to hold off and eventually defeat my kidnapper, Hinata said, and Karui's eye widened. But you were 6 years old. How can a 6-year-old child kill a jonin? Karui asked in shock. Everyone who heard took a while to assimilate and turned to face the blonde. Naruto sighed and answered. That is what happens when people underestimate me. Even though I was 6 years old, I already was genin level, and I am very sneaky. He underestimated me and paid the price, Naruto explained, and the audience slowly nodded. Hinata smiled, remembering all the fun they had since she started living with him. Teaching him proper manner at the table, smacking him with a pillow so he could wake up, hiding his ramen, helping him with his pranks, training with him, watching the night skies and sunsets with him, living with him, sleeping next to him, and kissing him. You did mention that if you kept your distance from the Hyugas it would be fine, but with me that doesn't apply. I can assure you that I am a master at the Juken, but I didn't stick with only that, as I will show you now, Hinata said, and dropped to the basic Juken stance. Ready? Hinata asked, and Karui nodded and picked up her sword from her back. Hinata channeled chakra to her wrist seal, and in a poof of smoke there was in her hand a 20 inches long single-edged straight sword. The blade's hilt was lavender with white lines around the edges. So you know Kenjutsu, Karui said, and dashed towards her. Karui jumped and did a vertical slash, only to Hinata block with her own sword. Hinata jumped back and did a few hand seals and shouted, Suiton Teppadama, water bullet. Hinata sent a few compressed water bullets at high speed towards Karui. Karui skillfully evaded all of them and watched as they collided with the wall and removed a good chunk of it. Karui gulped. If that had hit her, it would have broken a few bones. Karui once again rushed forward and said, Cloud style, deception slice, and made a slash motion with her sword. Hinata easily blocked, but Karui turned to smoke, revealing a wooden log. Hinata activated her Byakugan just in time to block a lateral swing from Karui's sword and jumped back, gaining a bit of distance from Karui. Hinata knew that she didn't stand a chance with Kenjutsu. She preferred daggers to swords. Daggers were easier to integrate with her taijutsu style and allowed for more swift motions without leaving so many openings. Hinata channeled wind chakra to her sword and quickly closed the distance. Karui brought her sword to block. Wrong move, as Hinata made a few quick slashes and destroyed Karui's sword, leaving it in pieces on the ground and Karui holding the hilt. What did you do? Karui asked, getting pissed off. That was her favorite sword. After a few skirmishes, I can tell that you are better at Kenjutsu than me, so I had to take care of that. I channeled wind chakra to my sword and destroyed yours, Hinata explained, and once again ran through hand seals and said, Suiton Swishaha, exploding water wave. Hinata expelled great amounts of water to the arena, completely flooding the grounds. Balcony. Not possible. That's an A-rank water jutsu. How can she have enough chakra for that? Kakashi asked out loud and turned to Kurenai. What have you been teaching them? He asked. Kurenai simply smirked. I didn't teach them anything, all credits go for Naruto. Kurenai said, and Kakashi turned to Naruto. I told you I've been training since I was 5 years old. Hinata joined me when she was 7. The dead last and the shy girl was all a cover. Deception is a ninja's greatest tool, Naruto said, and everyone turned their attention to the arena. Hyuga Hinata vs Karui of Kumo. Right-on Kangeki-ha, lightning style, emotion wave. Karui said and channeled right-on chakra through her hands and released it through the water to shock Hinata. Hinata saw this and jumped up to break her connection with the water. She went through hand seals and said, Futon de Tapa, great breakthrough, and sent a gust of wave that disrupted the lightning attack and made Karui lose her balance. Hinata took this opportunity and quickly went through new hand seals and shouted her favorite water technique. Suetun, Suryuden no Jutsu, Water Dragon. A water dragon rose from the water in the ground and quickly crashed into Karui, who didn't have time to dodge. Karui was sent crashing into the wall and hit with the pressure of the water dragon. Karui was a little dazed from the impact and slowly got up, but Hinata quickly appeared next to her and said, Suetun Sura no Jutsu, Water Prison. A chunk of water rose and quickly formed a sphere that trapped Karui inside and rendered her unable to move. Hate was shocked. The amount of skill the girl displayed with water jutsu was Jonin level. He managed to break free from his stutter and said, Winner, Hyuga Hinata. Balcony. She won, she won. Naruto chanted as he watched everyone on the balcony except his team stare in shock as Hinata made her way up the stairs. Even the Hokage was shocked at the skills she showed. Kakashi broke free from his own shock. He blinked, and blinked again. Kakashi approached Neji. See, can you check her chakra levels? He asked, stuttering. Neji activated his Byakugan and froze to what he saw. That's impossible. She has elite Jonin chakra levels. How is that even possible? She is a genin and nothing but a failure, Neji said. If she is a failure, I wonder what a genius could do, Kakashi mused. Naruto quickly hugged Hinata and spinned her around. Congratulations, Haim, Naruto said, making her giggle. You are nothing but a failure. To rely on ninjutsu only proves you weren't meant for the Byakugan, Neji coldly stated. Then if we face in the finals, I'll show you my Juken, Hinata said. Omoi from Kumo vs Fu from Taki, please step into the arena to begin your match, Hade called out. Omoi from Kumo vs Fu from Taki. Ready? Hade asked, and both nodded. Hajime, Hade called out and immediately jumped back. Fu quickly went through a few hand seals and said, Nizu no Muchi, Water Whip. Fu took advantage of the existing water and quickly made 4 water whips that grabbed Omoi's arms and legs and pinned him in the spot. Fu approached him from behind and placed a kunai at his neck. Yield, Fu said. Omoi tried to struggle to find a way to free himself from the spines, but they wouldn't budge. I surrender, Omoi said. Winner, Fu of Taki, Hade said. Balcony. That was anticlimactic, Asuma said as he watched Omoi return to the balcony with his head low. To be caught off guard and defeated with a single jutsu, it was a shame. Man, those things are really tight, they wouldn't budge, Omoi said while sucking on his lollipop and shaking his head in disappointment. What affinity do you have? Naruto asked. Like most people in Kumo, I have lightning. Why? Omoi asked. You could have channeled lightning chakra trough the whips, and since they are water, they would most likely have weakened enough for you to perform a substitution, Naruto explained, and Omoi face-palmed. How come I didn't think of that? Omoi asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Yugito vs Abdurrahim Shino, please come to the arena to begin the match, Hade called out. Good luck, Shino, Naruto said, and Hinata nodded. Thank you, but it's unlikely I will win, Shino stoically said, heading down to the arena. Well, he's excited, Asuma said. Abdurrahim Shino vs Yugito. Ready? Hade asked, and both nodded. Hajime, Hade said, and jumped back. Immediately as Hade said start, Yugito jumped into action and quickly closed the distance between her and Shino. Yugito jumped in the air and performed a drop kick. Shino brought both his arms up in AX formation and blocked the kick. Shino quickly grabbed her leg and spinning threw her at the wall. Yugito twisted mid-air and landed gracefully in the wall like a cat would. Balcony. Looks like Shino's taijutsu skill has increased, Kakashi said, surprised. Since Naruto and Hinata were more advanced, it gave me more time to focus on Shino. Also, his main weakness, as most long-range users, is taijutsu, so we tried to get him a defensive-type taijutsu style. Kurenai explained and Kakashi nodded. Go Shino, kick her ass! Naruto yelled. Kurenai just shook her head. Naruto could defeat her in a spar, and yet he still had a childish behavior. Aburaim Shino vs. Ni Yugito dropped from the wall and into the ground and crouched in all four like a cat getting ready to pounce on the victim. Shino eyed her very carefully and started releasing his bugs. Yugito saw the bugs heading towards her and shouted, Katan, Hozenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Fire Technique. Multiple fireballs crashed into Shino's bugs and engulfed them in flames. Yugito smirked but quickly dropped her smile when she noticed that the bugs were still coming as if nothing happened to them. How did you do that? Yugito asked. My main weakness is fire since it can easily destroy my bugs, so I coated them with water chakra to protect them. Shino stoically explained. I guess I have to turn up the heat, Yugito said smirking. Let's go Nibi, Yugito said to her partner. Right kitten, Nibi replied. Katan, Aogakake no Jutsu, Blue Fireball Technique. Yugito yelled and unleashed a big blue fireball towards Shino. This fireball engulfed the bugs and immediately turned them to dust. The fireball continued its path towards Shino. Doton Doria Hiki, Earth Wall, Shino said, and a small earth wall rose in front of him to protect him. The fireball collided to the earth wall and slowly but surely began to apply pressure. The wall didn't stand a chance with the Bija-powered fireball, and began to crack until he collapsed. Shino saw the wall starting to crack and immediately jumped away. Yugito expected such, so she was there to greet with a fierce punch to his face. Yugito punched him, but he transformed into bugs. Bug clone, Yugito thought as the clone she punched began to surround her. Yugito channeled Nibi's chakra and one by one each of the bugs began to fall on the ground, killed by the Bija's extremely poisonous chakra. I surrender, she destroyed one of my hives and I'm low on chakra. It would be illogical to proceed. Shino breathing heavily. Winner by forfeit ni Yugito. Hate said. Balcony. You did good Shino. Kurenai said and he nodded. Yeah, it would be very hard to win against someone like her. Naruto said. What's so special about her? Sasuke asked, but it felt more like a demand. Let's just say she's the number 2. Naruto said smirking, and Sasuke was about to jump him when Kakashi caught his shoulder. The Hokage heard that, and already suspected as much. That means that with her there are 5 Jinchurikis here, the Hokage thought. Nara Shikamaru vs. Inuzuka Kiba, please come to the arena, Hate called. Yeah, the lazy ass. We have this one on the bag. Kiba cheered and he picked up Akamaru and ran to the arena. Nara Shikamaru vs. Inuzuka Kiba. Ready? Hate asked. That's right, we are, Kiba yelled. Troublesome, I guess I am, Shikamaru replied. Hajime, Hate said and jumped back. This is so troublesome. I'm no match for Kiba's speed or strength, Shikamaru thought as he analyzed Kiba and came up with a plan for defeat him. Kiba immediately said, Ninpu Shikyaku no Jutsu, for legs technique. We could see as Kiba crouched to the ground in all fours. His nails became more elongated as his fangs and his eyes took a more feral grin with vertical slits. Kiba ran forward with impressive speed and Shikamaru, the lazy ass he is, decided to run and avoid very single strike Kiba tried. This continued for a few minutes until Kiba got tired and jumped back, gaining some distance. Fight back, lazy ass! Kiba yelled, get pissed off that he didn't hit him one single time. I'm fighting back, troublesome, Shikamaru said and sighed. Shikamaru went through his pockets and took a smoke bomb. He threw it at Kiba, and the entire arena where Kiba was became covered in smoke. Inside the smoke cloud, Kiba was quickly turning and checking every position to find out what exactly Shikamaru was trying to do. He checked left, right, up and his left. Kiba was getting tired of this and about to jump away when he froze, unable to move. As the smoke cleared, Kiba could see Shikamaru crouching with his hands in the rat seal. What did you do? Kiba asked as he struggled to move. Kiba could see from the corner of his eye that Akamaru was also frozen in the same place. Cage main no jutsu, shadow imitation technique, success, Shikamaru said. In the beginning of the match when you engaged me in taijutsu, I placed a few small bells in you. When I threw the smoke bomb, I blocked your vision of me so you couldn't see what I was doing. Since you had the bells, I could easily find you in the middle of the smoke and connected my shadow to yours, preventing you from moving, Shikamaru explained. Forfeit, Shikamaru said. Fine, I surrender, Kiba said, angry how it turned out. Winner by forfeit, Nara Shikamaru. Hate said. Balcony. Who thought the lazy ass could come up with that? Sakura smugly said. Asuma laughed. You know, I gave him an IQ test, and he scored 220. The kid's genius and never got good scores in the academy because he was always too bored to do more. Asuma said, chuckling to the shock of many. Just slight above you. Hinata whispered to Naruto. Asuma overheard what Hinata said. What do you mean slightly above him? Asuma asked. Exactly that. Naruto did an IQ test like everyone, however in the academy he scored less than 50, which would mean severe lack of cognitive functions. However, we tested each other at home and he scored 210. Hinata explained, and everyone's jaw hit the floor. How can the dead last have such high IQ? Asuma asked. The same way Shikamaru, who was almost the dead last, has as well. Naruto said, chuckling. But I'm not the only one. My Haim here also scored 200 points. Naruto said and laughed at their faces. The dead last and the shy girl were genius. This never gets old. Naruto thought. How wonder what more did you hide? Asuma asked him, and he shrugged his shoulders. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee, please step into the arena for the match. Hate called out. Looks like we are up, Lee. I want to test my Dragon Fist against your Goken, Strong Fist, so how about I only use Taijutsu no bloodline even? Naruto asked. That's the most youthful thing someone has ever said to me. I agree. Let's show them the power of youth. Lee yelled, making everyone wince at the tone. Such a youthful opponent, you should make him your eternal rival. Guy yelled. Yes, Gi-sensei. Lee said. Lee, Gi-sensei, Lee, Gi-sensei. Both master and student were hugging each other in the beach as the water came rushing between them and crashing into the rocks. Tears could be seen shinning as the sun was going down. Kai! Kai! Naruto yelled. Kurama HELPPPP. He pleaded to his partner. It doesn't work. What sort of genjutsu is this? Kurama said as he ran to the back of his seal and closed his eyes with his tails. Wait! Sakura yelled, making Naruto turn back as he was already going down to the arena. You have a bloodline? Sakura asked. Yes, I do. Naruto said and discarded any more question as he turned to leave again. How can a clan-less and orphan loser like you a bloodline? Sasuke smugly asked. Naruto clenched his fist, shaking in anger. He almost channeled the Kyuubi's chakra, but Kurama managed to hold it. Naruto managed to calm down. You know, Sasuke, one day you will eat all those words. You are not as special as you think. Besides, people say that my bloodline is the strongest in the world. Naruto said. Please do. The Sharingan is the most powerful bloodline in the world. Sasuke said, smirking. If you say so. Naruto said, laughing as he made his way down the stairs. People who knew he had the Sharingan chuckled at his wordplay. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Ready? Hate asked and both nodded. Final match of the preliminaries, Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Hajime. Hate said and jumped back. We are both genius of hard word, Lee. Let's show them the power of taijutsu. Naruto said and got into his stance. Left leg in front of the right with both knees bent, left arm stretched with the hand palm facing the enemy while the right arm was coiled near the waist with a fist. Lee had a more simple stance. He was standing straight with his left arm behind his back and his right arm pointing to the enemy with a straight palm. Balcony, strange. Guy mused. Never seen that particular stance before. Guy thought out loud, nursing his chin while he thought. That stance belongs to the taijutsu style of his father with a few modifications that Naruto integrated in there. Hinata said. I thought Naruto was an orphan. Sakura asked. He is, but his father left him scrolls with his jutsus. Hinata explained. Who was his father? Sakura asked. It isn't my place to tell. Hinata replied and Sakura frowned. Must be some unknown chunin who got drunk and died in some mission. Sasuke said, and Kakashi was about to snap his neck for disrespecting his sensei. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. As Hate said start, Rock Lee immediately started running to Naruto. He closed the distance in no time. Lee jumped and said, Konoha Senpu, Leaf Whirlwind, and tried to kick him. Naruto brought his right arm and blocked the kick. Lee jumped back and Naruto immediately regretted blocking that as his arm felt a little numb. As Lee touched the ground, he went again at high speeds towards Naruto, and both engaged in a fierce display of taijutsu. Due to the fact that Naruto could use chakra to empower his muscles, he had a slight advantage in speed and short bursts that were perfect for his quick counters. The battle went on until Lee quickly got in past his defenses. Lee crouched beneath Naruto and said, "Konoha Shifu, Leaf Rising Wind." Lee tried an uppercut with his feet at Naruto, but he managed to roll and dodge it. As Naruto was rolling, he tried to sweep Lee's legs only to make him jump back and evade it as well. As soon as Lee touched the ground, he disappeared in a burst of speed. Naruto looked around until he felt Lee above. He looked up just in time to block a powerful drop kick with both arms. Naruto quickly grabbed his leg and threw Lee at the ground. Lee spinned and landed without trouble at the ground. "Your taijutsu is very good, Naruto-kun, as expected from my eternal rival," Lee said with tears in his eyes. Naruto shuddered and replied, "Surely eternal rivals." Naruto knew he might have signed his death sentence right there, but this match was extremely good. Hinata was a very good sparring partner at taijutsu, but she always used her gentle fist style. Naruto never faced the user of Goken. Even thought Naruto had the advantage in speed, he sometimes managed to get in a punch or kick, but Lee seemed to brush them off as nothing more than a little scratch. But this difference in speed was almost removed by Lee's experience in taijutsu, putting them equals in skill. This time Naruto took charge and ran towards Lee. Naruto threw a sloppy punch that Lee easily sidestepped, but that was what Naruto wanted. As soon as Lee sidestepped his punch, Naruto threw his hands to the ground to support himself, and used his legs to snare Lee's head between his feet. Naruto, with a swift motion of his ankles, threw Lee at a wall, who didn't see that coming and was unable to block. Balcony. Impressive guy, shocked with that particular movement that managed to firmly give Lee some damage. Naruto's taijutsu style incorporates a lot of acrobatic movements. He could have snapped Lee's neck with that one. Hinata explained, and Ga's eyes widened. Thank God his student was alive. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. I didn't expect such a technique from you, Naruto-kun, Lee said as he got up and brushed off the dust. Lee, take them off. Guy yelled from the balcony. Lee heard what his sensei said and was surprised. But I thought you could only remove them if it was to protect someone important to you, Lee said. It is, but this time I'm giving permission to remove them, Guy said. Lee heard this and smiled. He sat down on the ground and removed the weights he was wearing beneath his orange leg warmers. So he uses weights. I knew this wasn't his full power. Naruto thought and considered removing his seals, but he would wait and see if it was necessary. Balcony, just removing a bit of weight won't do anything, Sakura said. She watched Lee remove his weights and drop them in the ground and caused a crash that shook the entire arena. Sakura's eyes widened at the weight he had. Wasn't that a little bit too much, Guy? Kakashi asked, and Guy scoffed. How can he even stand with so much weight? Yugito yelled. What was with these leaf ninjas? Were they all crazy? Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Yosh, now I can move freely, Lee said, and Naruto lost track of Lee. Naruto didn't even manage to blink as Lee appeared right in front of him and delivered a powerful punch straight to his face that sent Naruto tumbling to the ground. Naruto slowly got up as Lee appeared next to him and kicked him in the stomach and sent him crashing to the wall. Naruto slowly got up as Lee appeared next to him. Lee crouched and kicked him into the air. Before Naruto could process the situation, he was already in the air. He blinked just in time to see Lee give a drop kick and send him to the ground, crashing into the cement floor hard. The floor cracked from the pressure and released a cloud of dust. Balcony. That is some speed, Kakashi said. Unbelievable, I didn't even see anything, Sakura said. Why can't my Sharingan track that speed? He's nothing more than a blur, Sasuke thought as he seated his teeth. Looks like Naruto is done, Asuma said as he smoked his cigar. I wouldn't be so sure, Kurenai replied with a knowing grin and got confused faces from Kakashi and Asuma. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Naruto slowly got up and removed a few rocks that were nearby from the crater he caused. He dusted himself off and saw his ruined jacket. You know I like this jacket, Naruto said, and everyone's sweat dropped as he remained so calm when he just got plummeted to the earth. Naruto raised his right hand and made a half-tiger seal and said, Gravity seals Ki. His whole body slowly glowed and dimmed down. You aren't the only one who trains with weights, Lee, although I prefer resistance seals, Naruto said as he flexed his muscles to get used to his new speed. Naruto ran with blinding speeds towards Lee. Lee didn't have time to do anything as Naruto took a page from Lee's book, punched him straight in the face, and sent him to the ground. Balcony, fast, Kakashi said. Looks like you are right, Kurenai. He also had weights on, Kakashi said, and Kurenai nodded. But I didn't see him removing weights, Kakashi-sensei? Ino asked. Naruto wasn't physical weights. He was using what it's called gravity seals. These seals were invented by the Yondaime Hokage and basically they restrain the body's movement, making you put more strength to move. Kakashi explained and Ino nodded. I want those seals, Sasuke demanded. Sorry, but I can't give you. They can only be applied by someone very well versed in seals and they are very dangerous to anyone who doesn't know seals. If you don't know how to properly use them, you may not be able to deactivate them during a battle, giving the opponent a big advantage. Kakashi explained with a serious tone. Then how can that dope use them? Sasuke asked as he saw Naruto get leaps ahead of him. That power should be his. Apparently he's very good with seals and a seal master. Kakashi said, much to the surprise of everyone. But I thought you needed to be very smart to learn that. Sakura asked. Then I guess that Hinata was saying the truth about his IQ. Kakashi said, chuckling. Uzumaki Naruto vs Rock Lee, they both engaged in a vicious taijutsu battle. To anyone below Jonin, they were nothing but blurs at such speeds. The power and speed that was behind those attacks was enough to completely shatter any one bone it hit the opponent. Every single punch or kick they gave, the opponent blocked it and sent a shock wave towards the whole arena. Lee disappeared in a burst of speed and quickly appeared behind Naruto and threw a punch. Naruto caught the punch with both hands and brought Lee in front of him and placed a kick in his stomach. Lee simply shrugged it off. As I expected. I'm faster, but you have more strength, Naruto said. So it is, Lee said as he regained his balance and untangled his ligatures in both arms. Lee disappeared and quickly appeared next to Naruto and kneed him in the stomach. Naruto doubled over and Lee kicked him into the air. Naruto was in mid-air when Lee appeared next to him and tapped his back. Lee's ligatures quickly left his arms and wrapped around Naruto. Lee picked Naruto and both started spinning very fast and going in fast to the ground. Omote Renge, front lotus. This is going to hurt, Naruto thought as he was spinning and heading head first to ground with high speeds. Boom! A massive shock wave was heard through the whole room as Lee sent Naruto to the ground, making a big crater. Much bigger than the one that was previously there. Lee was on the side as he watched the dust cloud settle and saw Naruto lying on the ground. Oh, Naruto barely said as he got up from the crater and got shocked faces from everyone. That hurt like hell. I'm already regretting not using my bloodline, he said as he got up and flexed his neck and dusted off his clothes. How can you stand up after that? Lee asked as he was starting to get tired. That move was forbidden by his sensei due to toll it takes on his muscles. I channeled chakra to my body to strengthen him and lessen the impact, but even so it hurt like hell, Naruto said as he got ready to continue the onslaught. It's about time to show you the true power of my taijutsu style, Naruto said. Lee didn't want to give him time to recover and quickly ran towards him and said, Konoha Senpu, Leaf Whirlwind. Naruto already knew this move and took the opportunity. He saw the kick approaching and elbowed Lee's leg. Lee toppled over in pain and nursed his leg. I'm sorry, Lee, but my true taijutsu style is meant to target weak and pressure points along the human body. I didn't put enough pressure to break the bones. Please surrender, I do not want to hurt you, Naruto said. I cannot give up. Gai-sensei, forgive me, but I must do this, Lee said and rose up. He brought his arms in front of his chest in an X form. Naruto watched as his veins started to show beneath his skins and his skin started to become redder. Naruto's eyes widened when he realized what Lee was about to do. Lee, you can't open them, this is getting out of hand, Naruto said. I cannot give up, for this is my ninja way, Lee said. Kaimon, gate of opening, Ki, Lee said as his veins started getting more defined under his skin. Kumon, gate of healing, Ki, Lee said and his started turning red. Simon, gate of life, Ki, Lee said and a green aura could be seen forming around his body. Shumon, gate of pain, Ki, Lee said. Tomon, gate of closing, Ki, Lee said and the air around him began to swirl around him due to massive amounts of chakra he was realizing. Balcony. You taught him how to open the gates? Kakashi said. Are you insane? He asked. I don't want to hear this from you. He can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. Taijutsu is the only thing he has, Guy replied. I can see the chakra around his body. This is amazing, Sakura said as she watched and wondered the power that was radiating from Lee. I want you to teach me this, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke said. Never. The gates are extremely dangerous. There are 8 gates in the human body. If you open them all, you temporarily gain a boost of strength that can surpass a Kage, but then you die, Kakashi explained. Lee is using them. Then that means is going to die? Sasuke asked. You die if you open the 8th and last gate. However, if your body isn't strong enough to handle the strain of lower gates, you can easily die as well. This is why it is a very dangerous technique, Kakashi explained, and Sasuke huffed. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. You truly are amazing, Lee. But I can't lose here as well, and I promised only taijutsu, which only leaves me this as my last trump card. Kaimon, Kumon, Simon, Shaman, Taman Kai, Naruto said and exploded with chakra. Balcony, WHATTT? Kakashi yelled as he watched Naruto so easily open 5 gates. How can he open the gates as well? He is crazy, Kakashi said. Kurinai. Kakashi started. Did you teach him this? Kakashi asked in a dangerous voice. And oh, I didn't even know he could do this, Kurinai said, just as surprised. Relax. Hinata started and got the attention of everyone. He knows what he's doing. Anyone can open the gates as long they know where they are situated in the human body. I can open them as well. I can go up to 4. Hinata said, and everyone stared at her in shock. Kakashi gulped and revealed his Sharingan to see the battle that was about to ensue. How many gates can he open? Kakashi asked. Hinata smirked and shouted. Naruto, go full power. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Naruto laughed at the enthusiasm Hinata was showing and decided to show them. Kurama, get ready. I'm going full strength, Naruto said, smirking. Honestly, you have no restraint, Kurama replied. Came on, joy of gate, Kaiman, gate of shock, Ki, Naruto said, and he was surrounded by a blue aura. Balcony, 7 gates, Kakashi said, barely standing. Sakura, Ino, and most of the weaker genins were on the ground. The amount of power Naruto was unleashing was pushing the air from everyone. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Shimon, gate of death, Ki, Naruto said, and everyone's eyes widened. Naruto's muscles bulged out completely, ripping off his mesh armor and shirt he had, leaving his torso naked. Naruto started walking towards Lee. Every step he took, the ground beneath him cracked. His eyes were completely blue, and his skin was red. His was sweating heavily, and that gave him a blue aura around. His hair was flowing in the air and lightly glowing. Balcony. He opened the last gate, Kakashi said as he fell to his knees. Don't worry, Hinata said calmly, and everyone stared at her. There are 5 people in the whole world who can open all gates and live, and Naruto is one of them, Hinata concluded. Why, you mean he can open the last gate and I'll live? Guy asked, and she nodded. Guy gulped and turned his attention to the arena. This was a moment of a lifetime. To be able to witness all 8 gates opened. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Rock Lee. Ready, Lee? Naruto asked. His voice took a deeper tone due to all the open gates. Lee gulped and slowly nodded, not really wanting to see just what was going to happen to him. Naruto disappeared in a burst of speed that not even the Hokage could follow. Not even Kakashi's Sharingan managed to follow him. Lee looked around when suddenly felt crippling pain in his stomach. He looked down and saw Naruto with his fist embedded in his chest. Lee was sent flying. Before he could hit anything, Naruto appeared beneath him and kneed him in the back and sent him into the air. Naruto disappeared once again and appeared above Lee in the air. Naruto punched Lee with such strength that sent a shockwave throughout the whole arena. Anyone watching had to secure themselves with chakra to stand. Lee was about to go crashing into the ground when Naruto pulled him back by his arm's ligatures and gave him a drop kick to the chest and sent crashing into the ground. When Lee smashed, the whole building shacked and the arena was blown to bits. The Hokage and Jonins that were watching had to leave, otherwise they would receive the full power of the blast wave. Naruto dropped to the ground and kneeled. Even thought he could survive opening all the gates. It took a very large toll in his body. Hate approached Lee to see if he was even in one piece. He approached him and touched his neck and felt a weak pulse from him. Aha! Winner by knockout, Uzumaki Naruto, Hate said, stuttering. He snapped from his shocks and yelled, medics. Balcony. No one said anything to the amount of power they just displayed. They wondered how even Lee managed to survive such brutal strikes. They saw Naruto slowly walking up to them. They noticed he was breathing heavily. So that's the power of the 8th gate, Guy said as he ran towards his fallen student. Hey, are you okay, Naruto? Kakashi asked. Naruto sunk to the ground and leaned against the wall. Yeah, I just need a little bit of sleep and I'll be back up in no time, he replied. You aren't human, Yugito said as she approached Naruto. Funny because if it weren't for the fur ball I would have died, Naruto said, chuckling to the shock of many and confusion of the others. You probably wouldn't survive. Anyone below the 5th wouldn't survive opening the last gate. I don't like opening's gate because I have better options, but I promise Lee a taijutsu only battle. I won't be able to move properly today, Naruto said. Do you know any of them? Sasuke smugly asked, trying to get as much information as he could. Well, of the 5 people that can survive, there are 3 in here. There's me, Killer Bee, Naruto said, pointing towards the Kumo's team Jonin. And there is Fu, Naruto concluded, pointing to Fu, the member of the Taki team. Why are they so special? Sasuke asked, and everyone tensed. Not my place to tell, Sasuke, Naruto replied and got to his feet. Sasuke scowled. The blonde contestants gather up, Hate said, and everyone who passed was now standing in front of Hate. Is Lee alright? Naruto asked. Well, according to the medics, his muscles are shredded, he has a few broken bones, a dislocated shoulder, and a concussion, Hate replied, and everyone stared at Naruto, who was starting to feel bad for what he did. Don't worry. He will need to be in bed for 3 weeks before he can walk again, but he will be just fine, Hate said, and Naruto sighed in relief. The finals for this year's Chunin's exam will be held in main arena in 1 month time. Here it is, the tournament grid. Take a good look, Hate said, and showed them the paper. Hyuga Hinata vs. Hyuga Neji, Fu vs. Ni Yugito, Sabaka no Temari vs. Nara, Shikamaru Uzumaki, Naruto vs. Uchiha, Sasuke, Sabaka no Gaara vs. Sabaka no Kankuro. Looks like I will be able to show you the true power of the Sharingan. Sasuke smirked towards Naruto. Naruto laughed, and Sasuke got pissed. What's so funny? Sasuke asked. I'll give it to you. The Sharingan is an amazing tool, but that alone isn't enough, Naruto explained. You will never know the true power of the Sharingan, and I will show it to you in the finals, Sasuke said, smirking. I guess we will test whose bloodline is more developed, Naruto said, smirking. Everyone who was in the room just watched and began considering that Sasuke had a death wish. Bloodline or not, the amount of power Naruto unleashed here was enough to even give Kakashi or Guy a run for their money. I guess we also face each other, cousin. I will show you what a failure you are, Neji said to Hinata with his traditional arrogant grin. Maybe, but I will not give up, Hinata said, smiling. Okay, contestants, you may leave the room. See you all in 1 month. Naruto, stay behind, I want to talk to you, the Hokage said, and he nodded. With the Hokage. Congratulations, Naruto-kun, although you pulled a dangerous move, the Hokage said in a serious tone. I know. I would never use the gates since I have better options, but I wanted to give to Lee a taijutsu battle, Naruto explained, and the Hokage nodded. What do you plan to do during this free month? The Hokage asked. Train, of course. Why do you ask? Naruto asked. Well, since both you and Hinata passed and Kurenai can only train one person effectively, I thought I would mention that your godfather arrived yesterday to the village, the Hokage said, and watched Naruto's reaction. My godfather? Who is he? Naruto asked, wondering who did his father choose. My student Jiraiya and one of teammates of your grandmother, the Hokage replied, and watched Naruto's jaw hit the floor. You mean the Jiraiya of the Sannin? Naruto asked, getting ready to chase the man for training. The one and only, the Hokage replied, laughing. He should be in the hot springs. Naruto didn't think much of it, and quickly left to the hot springs to meet his godfather. His godfather was the Jiraiya of Legendary 3. He should really be able to teach him all sort of powerful techniques, and be very strong and serious person. Right. Chapter 17, Enter the Pervert. Naruto left the main arena, and found his team waiting for him. Everything all right? Hinata asked. Yeah, the old man just told me my godfather was in town. I didn't even know I had 1 inch, Naruto replied, chuckling. Godfather? Who is he? Kurenai asked. Jiraiya of the Sannin, Naruto said, and laughed at their faces. I know, I had the same reaction when Gigi told me. How are we doing this, sensei? Naruto asked. Well, I can't train you at the same time, otherwise it would unfair, as you will probably face each other in the finals, Kurenai said. You can give your full time to Hinata-chan. I'll pester my godfather for some training, Naruto said. Okay, Kurenai replied. See you later at Homeheim, Naruto said. He kissed her cheek and left. Konoha's hot springs. Naruto walked through Konoha heading towards an objective. Meet his godfather at the hot springs. Konoha's hot springs were relatively small when compared to other exotic destinations, but it was enough for a village like Konoha. Naruto calmly walked through the village. He was still tired from opening all the gates and got berated by Kurama, who had to heal him. No pain, no gain, right? Naruto quickly arrived at his destination and found it surprisingly calm on the outside. Normally in a warm day like this one should find the hot springs with more guests. In the end it was better this way. Naruto entered the hot springs and made his way towards the reception desk. Sitting in the chair behind the desk was a woman around 40 years old. She had neck-length black hair and brown eyes. Good afternoon, I would like to know if there's someone called Jiraiya using the hot springs. Naruto asked. Not that I'm aware of, dear. She replied, and Naruto raised an eyebrow at her kind tone. There is a couple of kunoichis, but the male section is completely empty. She finished, she explained. Naruto sighed and walked out. When he came outside he noticed that Ebisu was there. Peeping on women again, closet pervert? Naruto asked, making Ebisu jump. Such rude comment. I'm a gentleman, Ebisu explained. Sure. That's why you are blushing and have a small trickle of blood on your nose, Naruto said, pointing at him. Nonsense, Ebisu said, waving him off. Shouldn't you be training? I heard you will be facing Uchiha Sasuke. He's a prodigy, you know, Ebisu said. Yeah, Sasuke is great, I know. Once I drive his ass to the ground in front of everyone, no one will say that again. Naruto smirking. You really think you can defeat an Uchiha? Nonetheless, the Rookie of the Year, Ebisu asked. Even a genin can kill a Kage, Naruto replied, much to the surprise of Ebisu. Besides, instead of peeking, shouldn't you be training Konohamaru? Naruto asked. Ebisu thought for a moment, and came with the perfect excuse for being there. I was testing the hot water to see if it was good so that Konohamaru could train chakra control, Ebisu stated smugly, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Does he think he fools anyone? Naruto thought. Naruto was about to reply when they heard giggling coming from the hot springs roof. Both scanned the area and found a man with a small telescope peeping on the women that were taking a bath. I will not tolerate such behavior in my presence, Ebisu yelled and dashed to the man. Tisk, ruining my research, the man thought as he erupted in a poof of smoke and revealed a toad. The toad quickly sent his tongue and wrapped it around Ebisu, slamming him in the ground and knowing him out cold. Toads, Naruto thought as he watched the man. He was a tall man with waist-length, spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail, with two shoulder-length bangs that framed both sides of his face. He also had red lines that ran down from his eyes and wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji 4 oil. He also had a noticeable wart on the left side of his nose. He wore a green short shirt kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that showed out of the sleeves and legs of his outfit. His outfit was completed with handguards, a simple black belt, traditional Japanese wooden sandals, a red haori with 2 simple yellow circles on each side, and a scroll on his back. He also had a tattoo in his left palm which resembles one that Gamma has in his as well. Are you Jiraiya? Naruto asked as he faced the man. Jiraiya looked at the young blonde, asking who he was. He suddenly started dancing and saying, I may look like another Sannin, but there is no place you can hide from me. From the north, east, west and south, the women kneel before me. I'm the gallant Jiraiya, Jiraiya said as he stopped dancing to see Naruto staring at him. Why is everyone in the village an idiot? The old man is a pervert, Kakashi is always late, my grandmother is gambler, and now my godfather is an idiot and a pervert. Naruto thought and sighed and wondered why his father picked him of all people. Now that I think about it, I wonder who my godmother is, Naruto mused and thought. Are you really my godfather? Naruto asked, not really wanting to know the truth. Godfather? And Naruto? Jiraiya asked the blonde kid. Now that he looked at him, he really looked like Minato. He had grown well since the last time he saw him, which was around 4 years old. Hi, Naruto replied. You've grown, Jiraiya said as he approached him and kneeled to his level. Man, you must be a lady killer. I think I just found my next source of inspiration, Jiraiya stated, laughing and patting his back. I wonder why my father chose you, Naruto replied as his eye twitched. Why, you know who your father is? Jiraiya asked with his eyes widened. Yeah, I've known since I was 5. Since you don't know, I guess you haven't been in the village since then, Naruto said, and the Toad Sage nodded. If you are here now, how about you help me train for the Chunin exams? Naruto asked, and Jiraiya thought for a moment before he started to giggle. I will train you under one condition, Jiraiya said. Naruto knew he would most likely regret this but asked. What condition? I want you to get me some mature fruit, Jiraiya said, giggling perversely while making gestures with his arms to form the figure of an elegant woman. Naruto face-palmed before a grin came to his lips. I have something better for you, Naruto said, smirking, to which Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. He activated his Sharingan, displaying his full power to Jiraiya. Before Jiraiya could even say anything, Naruto locked eyes with him and said, Megan, harem viewing technique. And Jiraiya was dragged into some hot springs that kinda looked like Konohas, but they weren't. Jiraiya-kun, a blonde girl said as she was approaching Jiraiya, who was already submersed in the water. The girl had light blonde hair and brown eyes with a purple diamond-shaped mark on her forehead. She has a slender frame, but what really stood out were her DD-cup breasts. Tsunade-hime, I knew you loved me. Come here, Jiraiya said as he nearly passed out from blood loss. Did he say Tsunade? Oh hell no, Naruto thought before he abruptly ended the technique. Jiraiya pouted. You stay away from Bachan, you pervert, Naruto yelled, pointing at him. Bachan? And Sharingan? You have lot to explain, Jiraiya said in a serious tone. Fine, but you can't tell anyone yet. What do you want to know first? Naruto asked. How do you have the Sharingan? Jiraiya asked. My father never told you, but my grandfather was Uchiha. Madara, Naruto said and smirked at his face. Jiraiya was moping with floor with his jaw. And Madara? It can't be, Jiraiya said, stuttering and allowing his brain to process the information. From what my father told me, Madara Uchiha didn't die in his fight with Hashirama Uchiha. Years later my father was born, and when my Madara Uchiha's wife died, he left my father in the village. Naruto explained, and Jiraiya nodded dumbly. What do you mean from what your father told you? Jiraiya asked curiously. I don't really know how he did it, but when I awakened my Sharingan at 5 years old, he appeared in my mindscape and explained everything. Naruto explained. It certainly is possible that brat was always a genius, Jiraiya thought as he processed the information. I wonder how you never found out, Naruto said, and snapped Jiraiya from his thoughts, getting a confused face from him. What I mean is that, for example, the Rasengan he created was derived from the tailed beast ball. He saw it with his Sharingan. He couldn't copy it, but he could see how it worked, and after a bit of effort he created this, Naruto said and extended his hand, showing his perfect Rasengan. You can do the Rasengan. Who taught it to you? Jiraiya asked. It wasn't every day you saw a 14-year-old pull an A-rank jutsu. No one. I read my father's scroll and trained. But I prefer the Raikiri or the Chidori for battles. I only use the Rasengan when I need to destroy something, Naruto said, grinning. Our Raikiri? Jiraiya asked, and his face paled when he saw Naruto's hands sparkle in electricity. What kind of monster are you? Jiraiya asked. A fox, Naruto replied, laughing his ass off when Jiraiya's jaw dropped. I think you can't surprise anymore. Now tell what that was about Tsunade being your grandmother, Jiraiya said. Exactly that, she was my mother's mother. My mother was Uzumaki Kushina, right? Naruto asked, and Jiraiya nodded. My mother's real name was Senju Kushina, and she was the daughter of Senju Tsunade, Naruto explained. I knew Tsunade had a daughter, but I heard she died. I never realized she was Kushina. Jiraiya thought out loud. That makes you member of Senju clan and also the Uchiha clan, Jiraiya said. Pretty much, Naruto said. Do you know where Tsunade is? I promised the old man that I would bring her back. After all, she still has me for family, Naruto concluded. Good luck with that. She lost everything and left the village for good. I've tried to talk to her, but it's no good. I guess maybe you can. After the Chunin exams, we'll go look for her, Jiraiya said. Any more surprises you have? He asked. Nope, I don't think I have anything more, Naruto replied. So will you train me Baka Arrow Sennin? Naruto asked. Jiraiya twitched at his nickname. Don't call me that, Baka. Fine, I'll teach you a couple of things. Let's go to another spot, he replied. With Naruto and Jiraiya. Okay, I'll teach this killer technique, Jiraiya said, and slammed his palm on the ground and erupted in smoke, revealing a toad with large scroll in his tongue. Summoning contract. I already have 1 inch, Naruto said, and Jiraiya's eye twitched. Which one do you have? Jiraiya asked. Foxes, Naruto replied and got a confused face from Jiraiya. There is no fox contract, Jiraiya stated with his arms crossed. Naruto bit his thumb and flashed through hand seals and slammed his hand on the ground. When the smoke cleared, Kinto appeared. This is Kinto, a tracking fox. Naruto Fox and Kinto gave Jiraiya his fox grin. Where did you get it? Jiraiya asked. Kyuubi gave it to me, Naruto said, and Jiraiya was godsmacked. You already talked to him? Jiraiya asked, and Naruto nodded. Just be careful. Foxes are known to be cunning, Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded. If he knew Kurama's cage was open, he would freak, Naruto thought, chuckling. So anything else you can teach me? Naruto asked. Fine, let's start with this, Jiraiya said. The next couples of jutsus are of my own creation. Use your Sharingan, it's easier for to memorize the seals, Jiraiya said, and Naruto activated his eyes. Ninpahari Jaizu, Needle Guardian, Jiraiya said, and immediately his hair grew out and formed a shell around his body protecting him. Your turn, he said. That's cool. I wonder what mine will look like since I'm blonde, Naruto said, and performed the same as Jiraiya. After the third try, Naruto could perform this jutsu effortlessly and could rely on it for combat. Good. Remember, this jutsu only protects from B ranks and below, Jiraiya explained, and Naruto nodded. Also, if you intend to rely on this jutsu for defense, you should let your hair grow a bit like mine so it would be quicker to use, Jiraiya explained. Now I want to check if your Rasengan is up to the standards. Clash it with mine, Jiraiya said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. I want to see if the compression, rotation, and general power is good enough, Jiraiya explained, and Naruto nodded, and both jumped back a few meters facing each other. Both dashed forward with their palms facing one another and yelled, Rasengan, at the same time. Both spheres clashed against one another, both fighting for supremacy. The confrontation continued for a few seconds until both spheres exploded and sent both Jiraiya and Naruto flying on opposite directions. They quickly regained their sense and landed on the ground without much trouble. Your Rasengan is good, Jiraiya said. Oh, by the way, who are you facing in the finals? He asked. I'm facing the last Uchiha, Naruto said, chuckling. He'll be in one hell of a ride when he finds out he isn't the last Uchiha, Jiraiya said, laughing. Ero Sennin, Naruto called out, and his sensei's eye twitched. You trained my father, right? He asked, and Jiraiya nodded before he continued. Do you know how he trained the Hirishin? He asked. What do you mean? Jiraiya asked until a realization hit him. Don't tell me you can use it as well? He asked. Yes, I finished my version of the Shiki formula a couple months ago, but it's hard for me to do multiple jumps in quick succession. I tend to crash into something, Naruto explained. You said you finished your version of the Shiki formula, Jiraiya stated with his hand on his chin. How good are you with seals? He asked. Seal Master Level 10. Naruto stated, and Jiraiya crossed his arms and pouted, muttering something ingenious blondes. I know your father used to train by placing Hirishin seals on multiple places, making it kinda like a circuit. I believe he also trained his own agility and flexibility as well. He had the same problem as you when he first began, Jiraiya explained. Thanks, I'll do that, Naruto said. Ero-sen and I've been wondering, do you know who my godmother is? He asked, and Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. Godmother? I believe your mother chose Hyuga Hana. After all, Hana and Hayashi were your parents' best friends, Jiraiya explained while reminiscing about a few fun memories. Hinata-chan's mother? Who would have known? Naruto said. What make it so surprising? Jiraiya asked. Hinata is my girlfriend, Naruto stated, and that sent Jiraiya into a fit of perverted giggles, making Naruto's eye twitch and wonder if it was wise to tell him that. I knew you were a heartthrob. You are going to make me richer. Just like your parents, Jiraiya said. What do you mean? Naruto asked, confused, but when it came to his godfather he already expected anything. I'm the author of these amazing books, Jiraiya said, and took an already too familiar orange book from his clothes. One of these books is based on your parents, Jiraiya said, giggling like a fangirl with a trickle of blood on his nose. You spied on my parents? Naruto asked, but it was more a statement. Jiraiya nodded, quite proud of his accomplishments. If you do that to me and Hinata, I'll shove a Raikiri up your ass, Naruto said, and Jiraiya shivered at the thought. Calm down, it was only a joke, or not, Jiraiya said, laughing his ass off at his expression. Are you really a Sannin? Naruto asked, getting more and more dubious of his supposed toad sage of a godfather. Just forget it. Let's continue the training, Jiraiya said and thought for a moment. Have you tried to use the Kyuubi's power? He asked. I already can the Kyuubi's full power, Naruto said, much to the shock of Jiraiya. What do you mean full power? Jiraiya asked. When I met my father at 5 years old, he opened the Kyuubi's cage so I can access all of his chakra. Naruto explained. You can control him? Jiraiya said, astonished. There were only a few people in history that could control the power of a Bijuu. They were Yagura the Sanbai Jinchuriki and Killer Bee the Hachibi Jinchuriki. That's the point. You don't control them, you work with them. Naruto explained. Are you telling me that you are friends? He asked. Pretty much, and I'm looking for a way to set him free. He doesn't deserve to be locked up and used as a weapon, Naruto said. You don't seem crazy, so if you are trying to set him free and Minato opened the cage, I assume it wasn't his fault that Kyuubi attacked 14 years ago, Jiraiya said. Exactly. When I was being born, someone attacked my mother and removed the Kyuubi from her. Then he used the Sharingan to control him and attacked the village, Naruto explained. But only Madara managed to control him, Jiraiya said. I know that from the history books, however my father knew it wasn't Madara. After all, my father would recognize his father's chakra signature, Naruto said. That makes more sense. Your father was a seal master, there was no way the seal would break with him present, Jiraiya stated. Should I tell him about the Akatsuki? He seems much more mature than children of his age, and he already is strong, Jiraiya thought. I wasn't planning on telling you this, but I see that you are mature enough to understand, Jiraiya said, a very serious tone. What is it now? Naruto asked. There is a group of S-ranked criminals called Akatsuki and they are after the Bijuu, Jiraiya said. Why can't my life be simple? Naruto said as he sat on the ground. My life since birth has been an S-rank mission. I'm hated by almost everyone and now I'll be chased by Kage-level ninjas, he said, sighing. You will have it rough, but you have people that care about you. You have me, the Hokage, your girlfriend, and I bet you have more friends, Jiraiya said, and Naruto slowly nodded. Cling to those that care about you and ignore the rest, he concluded. I guess, Naruto said. What's your dream? Jiraiya asked. To become Hokage, Naruto said with a small smile. The same dream as both his parents. I'll do my best to guide you there, Jiraiya thought. Then don't give up. Fight for what you want, Jiraiya said. I never give up and I never surrender, for that's my ninja way, Naruto said with renewed vigor as he jumped to his feet. Jiraiya smiled. Naruto remembered him so much of Minato and Kushina it was scary. He had Minato's intellect with Kushina's personality. Let's go, I'll treat you to some dinner, Jiraiya said. Yes, ramen, here we go, Naruto said, and Jiraiya froze. No, not ramen, Jiraiya thought while he cried anime tears in his mind. Chapter 18, Calm Before the Storm. 1 week had passed since the end of the second phase of the Chunin exams, and everyone was busy training or gathering information on the adversaries. Naruto was training with his godfather Jiraiya. The man was a pervert, but Naruto had to admit the man was strong and keen. Naruto didn't have much to prepare against his opponent Sasuke. He went to the academy with him, and like most Uchihas, Sasuke favored fire jutsus and relied on his Sharingan. Hinata was training with Kurinai. Naruto didn't know much of what she was doing, and for good reason. After all, she will most likely end up facing him in the finals, so she should have a few surprises in store for her blonde. If you look carefully, you would notice that both Naruto and Hinata were facing clan members, so to speak. Naruto was facing Sasuke and both were Sharingan wielders, and Hinata was facing her cousin Neji and both were Byakugan users. Naruto remembered from the preliminaries all the details of the fights. A perk of the Sharingan is that it grants the user photographic memory. That's the reason why the Sharingan is able to copy jutsus. Neji and Hinata were mainly taijutsu users, with Hinata being a very good Suiton user. Fu was a bug and Suiton user, but also the Nanabai Jinchuriki. Yugito was a fire user and very flexible at taijutsu, and also the Nibi Jinchuriki. Temari was a long-range wind user, so her taijutsu should be low. Shikamaru, the shadow user, and like Temari, was long-range type, so his taijutsu should be his weak point. Kankuro was unknown since he didn't fight. And finally there is Gaara, the sand user, and the Ichibi Jinchuriki. Naruto and Hinata were lying on the couch with Hinata wrapped in Naruto's arms with her back to his chest. They were relaxing after a long day of training. How did training go? Naruto asked. He asked as he caressed her hair gently. Good, I asked Asuma-sensei for some training on daggers and trench knives taijutsu. Hinata replied. Daggers, they suit you, beautiful and deadly, Naruto said. She turned around to face him and lightly kissed him and placed her head on his chest. Flattery will get you nowhere, she said, and he chuckled. Oh, come you now, it's true, you are beautiful, he said, and she lightly blushed. By the way, I need some pointers on lightning manipulation, she said. Did you do the leaf exercise by making it crumble? Naruto asked, and she nodded. Now you need to be able to channel big amounts of right-on chakra. You can do the same with couple of rocks. Since it's harder to channel chakra through them, you need to increase the output amount until the rocks breaks. He explained, and she nodded. And how did your training with the pervert go? Hinata asked, and he laughed. Naruto told her about his godfather, and how he was the writer of the Ika that Kakashi likes so much. As well as it can when you have an idiot of a godfather who is constantly distracted with his research. Naruto said, sighing. He taught me a few katan jutsus, it's the only nature we share. Naruto explained. Hinata snuggled deeper into Naruto's chest. She was always amazed at the warmth he provided, and she always felt safe in his presence. They rested for a few minutes until Naruto remembered something he talked about with Jiraiya. Hey Haim? Naruto asked, and she hummed in response. Did you know that your mother was my godmother? He asked. Really? Hinata asked as she raised her head and locked eyes with him. According to Ero-sen, your parents were my parents' best friends. Go figure, he said, chuckling. I wonder what my father ever saw in Hayashi. Naruto mused. You know, I think my father was never that bad. Hinata said softly, making Naruto raise an eyebrow. I was 3 years old, but I seem to remember him being kind to me. After my mother died, he turned cold, and the elders didn't help. Then I was kidnapped, and the result of my abduction forced Neji's father to be killed and delivered to Kumo as payment. I think he blames me for that. If I had been stronger, I wouldn't have been kidnapped. She explained. It was my fault, if I had been stronger, Hinata said, tearing up. Naruto lifted her up and cleaned her tears with his hands. He hugged her, and she snuggled into his chest. It wasn't your fault. You were 6 years old. No one could have expected you to defend yourself against a Jonin. Naruto explained, easing her worries. But you managed to kill him, she replied in a weak voice threatening to break. That was luck, pure and simple. I had my Sharingan and Kurama. Without both of those, I would have been killed instantly. I think he didn't kill me because he wanted my bloodline too, Naruto whispered to her, and she slowly nodded. He continued hugging her for a few minutes, and he felt her tensions slowly ease up. Hinata meant the world to him. People like Naruto, Jinchurikis, no matter where they live, they grow in a world of pain, of suffering and hate. Living in an environment like this is never good, much less when you are a child growing up. To people like Naruto that are rarely showed any kindness or love, it makes them very protective of that person since they gave them something they never had. This is the case of Naruto. Hinata was the first person to truly love him deeply and unconditionally, so he is very protective of her, and would anything to keep her happy and safe. Feeling better? Naruto asked while he cleaned her dried tears. She nodded and snuggled closer to him. She always found comfort and safety in him. Suddenly there was a poof of smoke in the middle of the room where they were. After the smoke cleared, it revealed to be a fox. Hey there, Kyofa, Naruto said. Flashback. Forest of Death Team 8 just entered the gates of the Forest of Death, getting ready to ace the exam. Guys, wait up, I want to do something, Naruto said and flashed through hand seals. Summoning jutsu, Naruto said, and Kyofu appeared. What do you need? Kyofu asked. I need you to spy on Kabuto. Something about him isn't right. His chakra levels are close to Jonin, and yet he flunked 6 times. Here, Naruto said and showed him a chakra card he secretly stole from Kabuto's deck. Smell it, and you will be able to find him, Naruto said. I have it. I'll be going, Kyofu said, and Naruto nodded. End flashback. So what did you find out? Naruto asked. That Kabuto guy is working with Orochimaru. I found them talking in the Forest of Death, Kyofu said. I told you he smelled of snakes, Kurama yelled, and Naruto mentally yelled. Figures, Kurama said he smelled like snakes, Naruto said, sighing. He would inform the Hokage later. Anything else? He asked. Yes, I also heard Kabuto talking to Sand Jonin about some invasion during the finals, Kyofa said, and Naruto nodded. A few seconds later, Naruto shot out of the couch and yelled, "What? Keep it down," Kyofa said while nursing his sensitive ears. "Are you sure you heard right?" Naruto asked very seriously. "Yeah, I'm sure," Kyofa said. "What time is it?" Naruto asked in a worry. "It's 7 p.m. Why?" Hinata asked, confused. "The old man should still be in his office. We have to warn him," Naruto said, and Hinata nodded. They both picked up their jackets and Kyofa jumped in Naruto's shoulder as they left the apartment and headed towards the Hokage's tower. Hokage's tower. The Hokage was in his office doing what he does best, paperwork. After Naruto told him the Kage Bushin trick, the old man's life improved very much. Now he could take pleasure in what he liked to do, which was drinking tea, smoking his pipe, reading his Ika and walking through the village. Suddenly the door was busted open so fast that even the hidden Anbu jumped in front of the Hokage to protect him from the threat. "For Kami's sake, stand down, it's only Naruto-kun," the Hokage said, and the Anbu retreated with shame. They jumped into action without accessing the threat. "Naruto, is there a reason to why you entered my office like that?" the Hokage asked. "Actually, there is. The Sand is going to invade during the finals," Naruto quickly said. "What?" the Hokage asked, thinking he misheard Naruto. "I said that the Sand Village will invade ours during the Chunin exams finals," Naruto said in a calmer tone. "What makes you think that?" the Hokage asked with his full attention towards Naruto. "This is Kyofa," Naruto said, pointing towards the fox in his shoulders. "He is spy fox. During the second round I summoned him to spy on Yakushi Kabuto because he had Jonin-level chakra reserves and yet claimed to have failed the exam 6 times. Kyofa found him talking to Orochimaru and yesterday found him talking to the Sand Jonin regarding the invasion that they are planning," Naruto explained, and Kyofa nodded. "Are you sure, Kyofa?" the Hokage asked in a serious tone. "Yes, Hokage-sama," the fox replied. "I am you," the Hokage said, and in front of him appeared an Anbu with the dog mask. "Summon Shikaku and Jiraiya," the Hokage said. "Hai," the Anbu said and vanished. "Now that you know, I'll be going, old man," Naruto said and waved him off. "No. Naruto, you and Hinata stay. We may need to know anything else that Kyofa knows, and you deserve to hear this since you discovered it," the Hokage said, and they both nodded. Not even 15 minutes later, everyone was assembled in the Hokage's office. Jiraiya, Shikaku, Naruto, and also Hinata. "Welcome and sorry for calling you this quickly, but the situation may be dire," the Hokage started. "Naruto claims that the Sand Village will be invading during the exams finals," the Hokage said, and everyone stared eyed open at Naruto, who was feeling a bit insecure. "That's a bold claim, Naruto-san, even more since the Sand Village is our ally. What is your proof?" Shikaku asked, and Naruto explained his doubt of Kabuto and his talk with Orochimaru and Baki the Sand Jonin. "Actually is plausible," Jiraiya started. "According to my spy network, the Wind Daimyo has been giving more missions to our country which will without doubt cripple the Sand Village. And if they are desperate enough, they might try an invasion," Jiraiya concluded. "What's the background on Kabuto?" Jiraiya asked. "He's the adopted son of our chief medic. He was found in an empty battleground a few years ago, and the chief medic adopted him," the Hokage said. "Should I capture him for interrogation?" Jiraiya asked. "No, if he's found missing they might invade straight away without giving us time to prepare," the Hokage explained, and noticed that Naruto wanted to say something, but he found himself a little insecure. After all, this was almost a war meeting. "Anything you want to say, Naruto-kun?" the Hokage asked, and he nodded before beginning. "Remember when I brought Rokusho Aoi?" Naruto asked, and the Hokage nodded. "Well, before I trapped him in the scroll, I interrogated him, and he said he belonged to the Sound Village and his Kage was Orochimaru. So isn't it possible that the Sound and Sand Village formed an alliance to attack us?" Naruto asked, dropping the idea out loud. "It's true. I've heard of a new village formed a few months ago, and besides, you had Sound Genin competing," Jiraiya explained. "Also, it's very strange to bring the Ichibi Jinchuriki to participate in a Chunin exams when he's clearly mentally unstable, unless you were intending to release Shikaku in the middle of the village," Naruto said. "Naruto is right. I've heard rumors of the Sand Brat. He's as unstable as it gets. It wouldn't need much for him to crack," Jiraiya said. "So everyone agrees they will most likely invade?" the Hokage asked, and everyone nodded. "Well then, let's plan for it. I'll recall immediately most of our shinobi that are on missions, the Hokage said. What about our evacuation routes and shelters? The Hokage asked. They are always prepared, but we will stock some supplies just to make sure. Also, we can't evacuate earlier, otherwise they might suspect. Our best choice is a surprise counterattack once they start the invasion. Shikaku explained. They will focus on the most important objectives like the academy, hospital, IT department, and the ANBU station. Shikaku continued but was interrupted by Naruto. I have a suggestion. Naruto started. I found a couple of barrier seals in my house that might serve our purpose. They can create a barrier dome around a building protecting it from damage. Also, people inside can leave freely, however, for someone to enter, someone inside must open the barrier. Naruto explained. Barrier seals? Jiraiya asked. Yes, they belong to the Uzumaki clan. I've studied them, and a Chunin can power the shield for a day. Their strength is directly related to the chakra that is powering them, so a Chunin can create a barrier that will hold anything below S-rank techniques. Naruto explained, and everyone had their jaw on the ground. The Whirlpool Village was the home of the Uzumaki clan, the most renowned Fuinjutsu user in the world. It took the combined effort of 3 villages to bring a single clan. Looks like there is more than meets the eye with Naruto here. Troublesome blondes. Shikaka said. Very well. Jiraiya, I want you and Naruto to prepare the seals around our major buildings during these weeks. Be discreet. The Hokage explained, and both nodded. Now that the evacuation plans are set, what about the Shikaku? The Hokage explained. I can take care of him. Naruto said, and everyone turned to stare at him. Come again? The Hokage asked. During the finals we will face in combat. I'll defeat Sasuke, no doubt about it. Gaara will definitely win against his brother. During the second round we will face each other, and I can seal Shikaku tight enough so he won't be a problem. Naruto explained. That is a very serious claim you are making, Naruto. Are you sure you can do it? The Hokage asked. He had no doubt that Naruto was strong and skilled, but to take on a Bijou is a different matter. Absolutely. Naruto said, and stared at everyone in the room with his EMS glowing in its full power and gave shivers to everyone in the room. They could feel the power behind those eyes, the true power of the Sharingan, the power of Uchiha Madara. Troublesome blondes. Shikaku muttered. He would have asked, but it would too troublesome to know. Since when do you have a Mangekyo? Jiraiya asked, completely shocked with his godchild. He knew very well the powers behind eyes like those. I have it since I became Genin, but I'll tell you later. Naruto said. That is a very high risk you are taking. The Hokage said, and thought for a moment. I'll trust you, but I will have Jiraiya on standby if necessary. The Hokage explained, and Naruto nodded. Don't worry, old man. Have I ever let you down? Naruto asked. No, but don't forget this is a Bijou. The Hokage said. So? Mine has 8 more tails. Naruto said, smirking. Very well, the early arrangements are prepared. Summon the rest of the clan heads to inform them, and be discreet always. The Hokage said, and Naruto and Hinata left the room. It was an interesting night. Kumogakure, Reikige's office. The Reikige was in his office trying his best against the #1 Kage enemy, paperwork. He is a tall, dark-skinned man with a large, muscular build, with his white hair combed back, a small mustache and beard. His face is very distinguished with pronounced cheekbones and tear troughs under his eyes, and a prominent crease across his forehead. He has pointed canines, and his top lip also has a darker hue than the bottom one. The Reikige was called A, and he was the son of the 3rd Reikige who was demoted after the Hyuga affair. Curse you, father, for leaving this paperwork nightmare for me. A cursed in thought as he signed another mission report, when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Enter, the Reikige said. The door opened and a woman entered his office. Mabui was a dark-skinned young woman with green eyes. She wore very formal attire consisting of a long-sleeved, high-collared dress shirt and skirt, along with a pair of long earrings and sandals. She wore her light gray hair pulled back into a bun with 2 bangs that fall on either side of her face. Mabui was the Reikige's assistant in dealing with paperwork. Reikige-sama, it appears that Yugito-san has made the finals during Konoha's Chunin exams. Mabui explained. Excellent. Please send a letter informing the Hokage that I will attend the finals, the Reikige said. Yes, Reikige-sama, Mabui replied. Dare we see? The Reikige called out, and in front of him dropped 2 shinobis. C is a young man with short, blonde hair and dark eyes. He wears a sleeveless black shirt with a one-strap over one shoulder white flak jacket, forehead protector, characteristic black, elbow-length arm guards, and the red and white Kumogakyu shin guards along with a pair of sandal. Darui is a fairly tall, dark-skinned man with a slightly bulbous nose, a lazy look in his eyes and shaggy, white hair which covers his left eye. He wears a high-collared, sleeveless uniform with loose-fitting pants, bandages on his wrists, and the one strap over one shoulder flak jacket of a Kumogakyu shinobi. Darui also has stylized characters for water and lightning tattooed on his right and left shoulders respectively, denoting his chakra's nature affinities, water release and lightning release, as well as the fact that he has a Kekkei Genkai, the storm release. The tattoo on his left arm also signifies that he has inherited the third Raikage's black lightning. These two shinobis were the Raikage's main bodyguards. "We leave for the Leaf Village at once," the Raikage said and jumped through the window, breaking the glass during the process. Another window, Mabui sighed and walked out. "Let's go, Darui," said C as he prepared to jump through the broken window. "This is so dull. I'll take the door and catch up to you," Darui said and walked out. Konoha. Next day Jiraiya was walking through the village heading towards his intending destination. If someone watched him they would see Jiraiya walking calmly, however inside his head Jiraiya was taking every precaution to make sure he wasn't followed. Why was he taking precaution, you might ask? The answer is rather simple. The destination was none other than the Namikaze compound. He agreed to meet Naruto there, and prepare the barrier seal to place around some buildings. After all, no one has used the Namikaze compound since the Yondaime had died 14 years ago, defeating the Kyuubi, and seeing even Jiraiya at the entrance of the compound would raise far too many questions. Jiraiya arrived at the gates at the compound and rang the bell. Naruto showed a few minutes later and unlocked the gate, and added his chakra signature to the seals protecting the compound. Jiraiya entered, and when he spotted Naruto he looked at him and shivered. "What's wrong?" Naruto asked, clearly confused to why would Jiraiya shiver like that when he saw him. "Nothing really. Can you do me favor and activate your Sharingan?" Jiraiya said as he stared intently at Naruto. Naruto was confused by his statement but shrugged it off. He activated his Sharingan and noticed as Jiraiya shivered once more. "What's wrong with you?" Naruto asked. "You remind me too much of Madara with your hair like that, and when you activated your Sharingan it became even worse. I remembered when I saw him for the first time. I was only 5 years old." Jiraiya explained, and Naruto rose an eyebrow. Naruto's hairs had drastically changed. His hair was still spiky but now was to waist length with shoulder-length bangs framing the sides of his face, covering most of his right eye. Basically his hair was like Madara's. He only needed hair black and be wearing Senju armor, and he would like Madara himself minus the whiskers. "I found a jutsu to lengthen my hair. You said I should grow it out to use those jutsus you taught me. Besides, Hinata-chan likes it better this way and I kinda like it also," Naruto said, grinning, and activated his EMS, making poor Jiraiya feel a shiver running through his spine once again. "Come inside and let's get the seals ready," Naruto said, and both walked inside. Jiraiya felt nostalgic as he remembered being inside with Minato. He was walking with Naruto when he suddenly remembered one particular scene when he in his living room. Flashback. "It's an amazing book," Minato said as he finished reading the first book his sensei Jiraiya released. "The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. That's why I want to name our son Naruto. I want him to become a great and brave shinobi like your main character," Minato said. "Are you serious? That name came to me while I was eating ramen," Jiraiya replied. "Naruto. It's a beautiful name," Kushina said as she came from the kitchen to join them in the living room. End flashback. "What are you thinking about?" Naruto asked as he narrowed his eyes in suspicion. "Nothing, just remembering a few memories from this place," Jiraiya said as he sighed. Naruto nodded and proceeded to guide Jiraiya towards his library. The library at the Namikaze house was located in the basement, and was protected by multi-layered seals to prevent any unauthorized person access. Naruto placed his hand in the seal. The seals seemed to recognize his chakra signature and blood and automatically slightly glowed before the door opened. "These are the seals." Naruto picked them up and showed them to Jiraiya. He placed them on the table and started analyzing them. "These are some high-quality seals. As expected from the Uzumaki clan," Jiraiya said after a few minutes. "Kagebushin no Jutsu," Naruto said, and appeared 100 clones. "I want each one of you to replicate that barrier seal," Naruto ordered, and every single clone picked a small piece of paper and started writing the seal. Not even 5 minutes have passed and Naruto already possessed 100 copies of the barrier seal. That's some manufacturing speed, Jiraiya said, and Naruto chuckled. After all, once Naruto learned sealing, he never once again needed to buy explosive tags or sealing scrolls since he could easily do them. Let's go, Arrow Sennin, Naruto said. Jiraiya's eye twitched. Stop calling me that, Jiraiya yelled. Naruto and Jiraiya shined towards the academy and arrived at their front gates. Naruto immediately picked 4 seals and placed one in each wall. They remained until Naruto channeled a bit of chakra and they disappeared into the wall. They proceeded to apply these seals in all major locations around Konoha. The academy, hospital, IT department, prison, ANBU department, and decided to place them around the shelters as well. It's done, Naruto said after placing the last of the seals around the shelters, which the civilian will be lead to once the invasion begins. I'll talk to the sensei about the arrangements to activate the barriers, Jiraiya said and left to the Hokage's office. Naruto looked at the sky and saw the sun to check the time. It was around 3 p.m., so it was still early. I might as well go visit him, Naruto thought as he activated the Shunshin. Konoha's hospital. Naruto arrived the hospital entrance. He never really liked hospitals. The feeling of death he got from it was made him shiver. He entered through the main doors and calmly made his way towards the woman that was standing behind the desk. Good afternoon. Which room is Rock Lee in? Naruto politely asked. The woman raised her head to look at the person that was standing in front of her. The moment her eyes locked with him, Naruto could see the disgusted look in her face. You aren't allowed to visit him. Now leave, the woman sneered at Naruto. Naruto was getting tired of this. The treatment he received. The glares and names, he simply discarded them, but not allowing to do something that he had every right to do wasn't going to roll with him anymore. Naruto flared a bit of the Kyuubi's chakra, enough to change his eyes and affect his voice. Care to say that again? Naruto asked as his voice took a deeper tone. He watched the woman winced at the tone, and watched her look at him, and quickly shift her eyes away. Sorry about that, sir. Rock Lee is in room 201 inch. She quickly said, trying to get him to leave as it was getting hard to breathe and stand for that fact. Room 201. Naruto quickly made his way towards room 201 to visit Lee. Even though it was a fight during a tournament, he still felt a little upset for causing him that much damage and pain. He walked to the room and saw him the bed. Sitting in a chair besides him was Tenten. Hey Lee, Naruto said as he walked through the door. Both Tenten and Lee turned to face him and smiled. Why Osage, my eternal rival, came to pay me a visit. I promise next time I won't lose. Lee yelled, making Tenten bonk in the head at all this yelling. I see you are feeling better, that's good, Naruto replied. He's feeling better all right. Before I came here I found him on the ground doing push-ups with his working arm, Tenten said, sighing, and Naruto laughed at his enthusiasm. You need to rest, Lee, otherwise you are going to miss me kicking butt at the finals, Naruto said, grinning, and Tenten simply face-palmed. To someone so strong he could still act like a kid. I will do my best to recover in time. If I can, I shall deal 1,000 laps around Konoha. Lee yelled yet again, and Tenten just decided to shrug it off. Why can't I have normal person on my team? She said, sighing. By the way, I like your new hairstyle, it suits you, Tenten said. Thanks, I like it too, Naruto replied, rubbing the back of his head. It's good you are recovering, Lee. I will see you in the finals, Naruto said, and left the room and went to train. He still had about 3 weeks before the finals started. Chapter 19. Let the games begin. Konohagakure, also known as the Hidden Village Among the Leaves, was a shinobi village among many others spread through the elemental nations. Normally one wouldn't find enemy shinobi walking around the village without a care in the world, but today was a very special day. Today was the Chunin exams finals. Today the competitors from various countries would face against each other in mortal combat to prove their worth and try to gain a promotion to Chunin. The sun was slowly rising on the horizon and a warmth breeze was felt flowing through the village. It was still early, but the village was already booming with movement. Stores were already open and many were seen walking through the streets. After all, the Chunin exams were a very important event anywhere. The early stages weren't anything special, but the finals is another matter completely different. During the finals, many nobles and the daimyo himself would watch the games. They served as an alternative to war and to prove the worth of the shinobi belonging to certain villages. What no one expected, at least from the civilian side, was that war was much closer than they thought. The sun was coming up, slowly making his up to the sky. A beam of light managed to get through the window and wake up our favorite blonde by hitting straight in the eyes. The sun, millions of kilometers away, and yet deadly accuracy to blind Naruto. Naruto grunted as he tried to shift his eyes away from the sun. He looked down and saw that his angel was still deep asleep. "Awake up, Hinata-chan," Naruto said in his sleepy voice, slowly shaking her awake. "Morning," she said, and gave him a quick kiss. Naruto made a Kage Bushin to go prepare breakfast. "Come on, we have to get up," Naruto said, and she pouted, mumbling 5 more minutes. What to do?" Naruto thought, and suddenly a light bulb flashed in his head, nearly blinding Kurama. "Get up, Hinata-chan, you have your cousin's ass to kick," he tried to say with a straight face. Hearing that, Hinata perked up and immediately got up. "Let's go then," she replied, and he chuckled. Then went to take a quick bath separately to freshen up and to truly awake, since Naruto tumbled his way towards the bathroom, bumping into a few things. They had a heavily caloric breakfast since they knew that there would be plenty of action today. After all, shinobi can eat pretty much what they want and still look good due to all the train and work they do. After breakfast, they began preparing their weapons since they both knew that there was going to be an invasion sometime during the finals. They walked to the middle of the room until Naruto bit his thumb and sprayed blood across the wall. The reaction was instantaneous as the wall glowed for a moment until it seemed to disappear and show another room. In fact, Naruto drew a blood seal on the wall that created space rift between his normal house and the Namikaze compound, since he couldn't live there full time for now. The seal was based on the Hiraishin and opened a portal, so to speak, that allowed anyone to cross and literally walk up to the compound. Of course, the wall was protected by the blood seal and only Naruto and Hinata could activate it, since Naruto added her chakra signature to the seal. Naruto changed his outfit slightly. Since he knew that the sand was going to invade, he decided to use proper clothes. He kept his traditional orange pants, but he was wearing a sleeveless black shirt with mesh armor under it. He also had a gray chest-plated armor similar to those worn by the ANBU and arms guards, with storage seals along the wrists. In his wristband there were his special Hiraishin kunais, standard shuriken, Fuma shurikens, and his personal favorites, for crippling strikes, Senbon. What many people don't realize is that Senbon are deadlier than shuriken. It's extremely difficult to kill someone with shuriken unless it hits a critical area like the neck or the head, otherwise it won't pierce enough to kill the target. However, with Senbon one can hit one of many pressure points with them that can stun the enemy, put him to sleep, and even kill them. Of course, every weapon has its disadvantages, and Senbon are extremely difficult to learn how to use and even more to actually hit the enemy where it was intended. "Hinata-chan, where are the poisons?" Naruto asked, and Hinata replied, saying that they were on bottom cabinet in the second scroll. Hinata was very proficient in making poisons. She wasn't a very good medical shinobi, and let's be honest, she sucked at antidotes because she never had any training outside of reading, but for poisons, let's just say she was a natural. And poor Naruto was her guinea pig. Since he couldn't die due to any poison that he might get injected because of Kurama, Hinata usually tested them on him. She would occasionally throw a Senbon towards an unsuspecting Naruto and watch the results. Naruto knew that his shy Hinata must have a sadistic side to her. Naruto opened the cabinet and unsealed the contents of the scroll to show 3 small vials with different colors and labels. The first vial was white and was paralyzing poison. This particular poison will shut down the user's nervous system from the neck down, effectively paralyzing him. The second vial was yellow and was sleeping poison, and like the name says, it renders the user unconscious. The last and final vial was black and was killing poison. Once infected, it would spread extremely quickly and kill the user in a matter of seconds or minutes, depending where the Senbon hit the target. Naruto dipped his Senbon in these multiple poisons and sealed them in different seals so he could separate them. It wouldn't be much good if Naruto killed the person he was trying to capture. Speaking of weapons, Naruto offered his sword, the Raijin no Ken, to Hinata so she could use it in conjunction with her water attack, similar to how the Night Aim Hokage did, but she refused. Hinata preferred using her daggers she learned how to use during this month. Her daggers offered more fluidity in her taijutsu style, and she could channel wind or lightning chakra through them. In the end, it looked like the Raijin no Ken was going to become what it was before it was stolen, a family heirloom, until anyone decided to pick up the sword. Concerning Hinata's daggers, they were somewhat special. Even thought they had a few missions, both of them didn't have that much money to buy worthy daggers, so Naruto took upon himself and forged them to her. He bought chakra metal, which is cheaper than buying already made weapons. A/N, check profile for picture of daggers. He really outdid himself with them. The daggers were made of the best chakra metal and allowed Hinata to channel her elemental chakra through them to increase the piercing power. Their design was amazing, they truly were beautiful and deadly just like Naruto described Hinata. Naruto also printed a couple of seals on them to increase their resistance and durability. He also included a summoning seal that allowed Hinata to summon her daggers if she ever lost or threw them back to her hands. Hinata was preparing her weapons and seals when she heard Clang. She rushed to Naruto to see what happened and saw him picking up a weapon he apparently dropped on the floor. She looked at the weapon and her eyes widened. "You are taking that?" she asked, not believing her eyes as she looked at the weapon Naruto was picking up and preparing to seal in his storage seal in his body. Kurama had told them the story of that weapon and a few like those. Apparently they were created by the Rakuta Sannin himself, and were many times more powerful than any other weapon. To anyone not related to the sage himself, these weapons had massive chakra usage, and so, only a pure Uchiha or a Senju would be able to use those weapons properly. "I'm up against a Bijou, give me a break, I'm pulling all the stops against him," Naruto pointed out. "So am I." Hinata folded her arms and replied. Naruto asked, not understanding what she meant. "You don't expect me to lose against Neji, right?" she asked. "Of course not," Naruto replied. "During the second round I'll be facing either Fu or Yugito," she stated. "Yes, but they aren't crazy," Naruto said, waving his hand trying to prove his point. "Let's hurry this up or we might be late," Naruto concluded and sealed his favorite weapon inside his seal. He wondered why his father never used it, maybe it wasn't his style. They quickly finished packing everything they needed. Naruto placed his hand on her shoulder, and both of them flashed to the Chunin exams. This month, after Naruto had uncovered the invasion, he tried his best to spread his Hiraishin seals through the whole village. Now he could be virtually everywhere in the village. Konoha Stadium. They arrived just outside of the Konoha Stadium, and quickly made their way inside. The stadium was packed full. Among all of the audience there were daimyos, important businessmen and shinobi from other villages who just came to watch. After all, the Chunin exams is where the best genins are. The Kage box was located above the audience, and they had a particular vantage point to watch the matches. They were the judges, and so they needed to evaluate properly the contestants. There were 2 Kages currently sitting in the Kage box. The Hokage was the first, and had 2 bodyguards. The first was Namishi Rado. His most distinct feature is probably the wheel-like scar on his face, running across the bridge of his nose and down across the left side of his face. He has brown spiky hair, dark eyes, and wears the standard attire of the Konoha shinobi, complete with the forehead protector and the standard flak jacket. The other bodyguard was the self-inducted super pervert, the gallant Jiraiya. In the third chair was beyond him Raikage and his bodyguards, Derry and C. "Seems like Uchiha Sasuke is missing," A commented. Yugito was the strongest genin they had in Kumo, and he was expecting she could put all of these to shame, primarily the Uchiha. "I heard he was training with his sensei Hatake Kakashi, so maybe he picked up his bad habit," the Sandaime said, chuckling, and snorted. The Hokage and Raikage were talking when they noticed the Kazekage arriving. The Kazekage was known for using his gold dust similar to how Gaara manages to use his sand. "Greetings, Kazekage-sama. I'm glad you made it, I hope you aren't tired," the Sandaime said. "Not at all, Hokage-sama. It was good they were in the leaf this year. You aren't the young man you once were for long travels," the Kazekage said. "Don't treat me like an old man. I intend to remain the Hokage for another 5 years," the Hokage said, making a narrow his eyes. "Seems like you missing the last Uchiha," Kazekage said. "Like I told Raikage-sama. His sensei is Hatake Kakashi, and he's notorious for being late," the Hokage said, and the Kazekage nodded and took his seat. He sat in the second chair, in the middle of the Hokage and Raikage. "Now, shall we begin?" the Hokage asked, and they both nodded. The Hokage got up and went to the edge of the balcony. He used a voice amplification jutsu and said, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this year's Chunin exams finals. This year we have many talented genins from Konoha, Kumo, Suna, and Taki. Now, without further delays, let's begin the matches," the Hokage concluded, and the crowd cheered. With crowd. "They can't start the matches without Sasuke-kun," Sakura yelled. "Chill out, Sakura, he still has time before his match begins," Kiba replied, and she glared at him. "Did Gaara kill the Uchiha? I told him to lay low." Baki thought, looking at Gaara, who looked surprisingly calm. "Quiet down, it's about to begin," Ino said, and they looked at the arena and noticed Hate was about to speak. "A/N, he's alive, In the arena, Hate was explaining the rules at the participants, and they were pretty much the same as during the preliminaries. Let's begin. Hate said, but got interrupted by Hinata. Are we starting without Sasuke? She asked. He will have until his match to show up, otherwise he will be disqualified. Hate explained. Any more questions? Hate asked and nobody said anything. Hyuga Neji and Hyuga Hinata stay, the rest of you go to the waiting area. Hate said and everyone started to leave. They all left, but Naruto didn't leave without saying goodbye and kissing her cheek, much to her embarrassment. With crowd, the rest of the genins all made their way to the middle of the crowd and joined with their respective senseis and teammates. Hey Haku, Zabuza, Naruto said, waving at them. It's a shame you didn't enter in the Chunin exams, Haku, Naruto said. Yes, my team wasn't ready yet. Maybe next time, Haku replied. She was about to say something else when Zabuza spoke before her. Hey brat, Zabuza started. You better win this, I've got money riding on you, he said. Are you serious? Naruto asked. Of course, after everything I saw you do, if you lose I'll have Haku freeze your balls, Zabuza said, and Naruto chuckled weakly while involuntarily bringing his hand to his manhood. I like the new hairstyle, Naruto, Haku said. She had to admit he looked good. He wasn't wearing any sleeves so she could see his muscles. They weren't large or bulky, but they were of someone who trained hard, and his hairstyle was quite unique and looked good on him. Thanks, he replied and gave her a thumbs up. Look closely, Hanabi, there is no one who received the Hyuga blood like Neji, Hayashi said. Is he really that strong? Hanabi asked. She was the second daughter of Hayashi and the current heir to the Hyuga clan. He's very talented, nothing like your weakling of a sister, Hayashi said. You are in for a very rude wake-up call, Hayashi. You are about to see the real Hinata, Naruto thought as he overheard Hayashi speaking with Hanabi. Arena. You should give up, cousin, fate already declared me the winner, Neji stated in his smug smile. Hinata turned to Hate and said, Your name is Fate? I thought it was Hate, she said, and everyone started laughing. Neji even glared at Hate. What? Hate asked. It was funny, he said. You are a weakling, cousin, everyone knows that, Neji said, and Hinata just shook her head in disappointment. She figured since she got kicked out, Neji would at least sympathize a little bit with her. Fighters ready? Hate called out, and they both nodded. Hajime, he said, and jumped back. You can't evade fate, cousin. During the preliminaries you resorted to use ninjutsu. That only proved you aren't meant to be a Hyuga, he said. Then I shall defeat you using our taijutsu style, Hinata said as she took the standard juken stance, knees bent with left leg slightly forward. Her right arm extended with the palm facing Neji, and her right arm coiled near her waist. Neji smirked and didn't even activated the Byakugan or took any stance. He simply ran forward and closed the distance in no time. He went for the traditional juken strike to the chest. Hinata waited for it to get close, and faster than lightning she deflected the strike. She crouched down and swept his legs. Flowing with the momentum, she completed her twist and gave him a strike to his chest and sent him tumbling to the ground. You should take this serious, Neji, Hinata said as she activated her Byakugan without seals. Neji spat a bit of blood coming from his lips and removed the dirt and dust of his clothes as he got up. He decided to show her how it was done and activated his Byakugan and got into his stance. With crowd. Looks like they are getting serious, Naruto said. Yes, that was nothing but a little skirmish, Asuma said. Asuma, Kurenai said, getting his attention. You remember our bet, right? She asked. Yeah, I know, but I'm confident Shikamaru will be promoted, Asuma said, trying to convince himself. Arena Neji quickly dashed towards Hinata and threw a few strikes. Hinata dodged them all as if she was dancing. She didn't even need to block his attacks, she simply shifted her weight and went with the flow. Damn it, why can't I hit her? Neji asked to himself, getting frustrated, and he was using his best moves and she dodged them all as if they were nothing. Now it was time to Hinata to make her move. She tried a quick juken strike to his shoulder, but Neji blocked it. Neji quickly found himself in the defensive as Hinata was pushing him back and back. Each strike he blocked was a close call, and if it hit him it was game over. She seemed to only be targeting his most important chakra points. Neji decided to gain some space and back-flipped, but didn't expect Hinata to dash after him so fast. She went a juken strike to his left shoulder. I can't let her hit me or she will disable my left arm, Neji thought. Hinata watched him smirk and wondered what was so funny until she noticed he was starting to spin. She quickly realized what he going to do and jumped back to avoid his attack. Kaiten, Neji yelled as he spinned in a blue dome of chakra. With crowd. That's. Hayashi stuttered as he watched the prodigy of the branch family pull the best defensive move of the main house. Kaiten was the Hyuga's pride and joy. It was their absolute defense, or so they thought. Unbelievable, a Hyuga elder thought as he watched Neji pull the Kaiten. Tusan, isn't that? Hanabi asked but never got to finish. Kaiten. The main house absolute defense. To think he progressed so far without anyone to train him. He really is a prodigy, Hayashi stated. Arena Neji finished his Kaiten and smirked at Hinata. Looks like it's you who is trying to avoid his fate. Kaiten is a main house technique, Hinata said. A failure like you would never understand, Neji said and dashed forward and quickly closed the distance between him and Hinata. You are in my field of divination, Neji said and got into his stance. Hakurokujinshu, 64 palms of the hand. Neji called out and was about to start his best offensive attack when he saw Hinata start to spin. His eyes widened at what was about to happen, but it was too late. Kaiten. Hinata yelled and spun, creating her own blue dome of chakra, and Neji was thrown out very fast and impacted with the wall. With crowd, that's my girl, Naruto said as he cheered for Hinata. The rest of the Genin and most of the Jonin were watching as the disavowed heiress kicked the Hyuga's prodigy ass. Hayashi seethed his teeth as he watched Hinata flawlessly perform the Kaiten. He already knew she could use it, but to that perfection he never figured. T2-san. Nei-san just used the Kaiten too, Hanabi said as she watched the usual stoic Hayashi show his face of anger. Hayashi, the elder said, care to explain how your daughter can use the Kaiten? He asked. How should I know? He asked, and elder went back to his brooding like a certain Uchiha we know. Arena, still believe I'm a failure? She asked, watching her cousin rise from the ground, removing a few pieces of rocks from him. She noticed that his breathing was starting to get labored. After all, the Kaiten did send him to the wall quite hard. I admit you're better than I expected. In the end it won't matter. I didn't think you could pull the Kaiten as well, Neji replied as he watched her. During this whole match he was yet to land a single strike to her, and yet she already delivered 2 strong strikes to him. He needed to end this fast, otherwise he would lose, and that he couldn't allow. Neji ran as fast as he could towards Hinata. Neji approached her and threw dust he had in his hand towards her eyes. Hinata didn't expect such a low trick and could only close her eyes. Neji smirked and took this chance to end it. Hakurokujinshu, 64 palms of the hand, Neji said as he got into his stance. 2 palms, Neji said and closed 2 chakra points in Hinata's network. 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms, Neji said, finishing his strikes as Hinata was pushed back but stood on her feet. In the stands, Hayashi smirked in satisfaction as he watched her failure of a daughter put in her place. In the end you were nothing than a failure, Neji said, taking heavy breaths. He was about to talk to the proctor to give him the match when Hinata exploded in a puff of smoke. Neji's eye widened when he saw Hinata disappearing in smoke. Kagebushin? Neji asked in thought. He noticed Hinata quickly running behind him and turned just in time to receive her full attack. Hakusanbyakurokuju Ishiki, 8 trigrams, 361 palms, Hinata called out and began her onslaught. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms, 128 palms, 256 palms, 361 palms. Hinata finished. In less than 5 seconds she closed all the 361 chakra points in Neji's body. Neji hit the ground with a thump, completely knocked out, and he was going to stay like that for a few hours. Winner by knockout Hyuga Hinata, Hate called out. With crowd, Naruto whistled as he watched Hinata perform as new attack. She looked like she was dancing. It was beautiful. In less than 5 seconds she completely shut down Neji's entire chakra network. Hayashi's eyes were bulging out of his sockets as he watched her failure of a daughter defeat their Hyuga prodigy. Neji was supposed to be one of the best Juken users to ever grace the clan, and Hinata defeated him without even breaking a sweat. The battle was completely one-sided. Neji didn't even hit her once. Hayashi was broken out of his thoughts when the elders spoke to him. Hayashi, we must have that technique. Many tried to close the whole chakra system, but they couldn't do it in a viable way. It's instrumental we get that technique, the elder spoke. And how do you expect me to her to give it to us? Hayashi asked the wise elders. We don't care. Offer her the chance to rejoin the clan, give her anything. She may look different, but she'll jump the first chance she gets of rejoining our clan. The elder spoke, smirking. Congratulations, Hinata-chan, Naruto said as he hugged her and spun her around as she giggled. Thank you, Whiskers-kun, she replied and laughed like crazy at his face. Here they come, Naruto said, and Hinata got a confused face. Your father and the elders, he explained, and she turned around to see them approaching her. Anything you need, father, Hinata said in a very sweet voice that gave shivers to the poor man and made Naruto chuckle. Yes, Hinata. We would like to offer you a chance to rejoin the clan, Hayashi spoke in his stoic voice. Why would I do that? She asked. I'm happy with Naruto and there is nothing you can offer me, she replied. We can offer you a painless lifestyle befitting of a Hyuga. Surely you can't like your life with that thing, Hayashi said, and Hinata narrowed her eyes and the painless part. Call him a think again and I'll kill you, Hinata said, and she activated her Byakugan. Never mind. So do you accept? Hayashi asked. How about? No, she replied and laughed. Hayashi was starting to get pissed off, and that is saying much to someone who most of the time is calm and emotionless. There is nothing you can offer me. I'm happy with the life I have, why would I join a clan of stuck-up pricks? She said, and everyone laughed. Besides, you just want me because I defeated your prodigy, and most likely you want my new technique, Hinata said. Enough of this. An elder yelled and raised his fingers to form half of the tiger seal. Activate, the elder said and smirked. A few seconds passed and Hayashi was looking at the elder and wondering if his old age was acting up. Something wrong? Hinata asked in a very sweet voice. She removed the lavender sash from her forehead, revealed it to be sealless. The caged bird seal was nowhere to be found. I'm a free bird too, San, Hinata said. The elders, Hayashi, and even the Hokage were shocked. They never knew that the caged bird seal was possible of being removed without killing the victim. How is that possible? Hayashi asked. Let's just say that Naruto has a way with seals, Hinata said, and once again laughed at their shocked faces. Not even Jiraiya, who was a seal master himself, knew how to remove the caged bird seal without at least permanently crippling the user. This is an outrage. We can't allow this, Hayashi, an elder yelled. Too bad you can't do anything. Naruto started and gathered their attention. The moment you disavowed Hinata, she became an asset of the village. You no longer have any power over her. And since she is a shinobi and technically an adult, you can't even claim her as your daughter now, Naruto said, chuckling at the anger face of Hayashi and the elders who seemed to be about to kill them both. Hayashi took a step forward but immediately regretted it as he fell to the ground, barely managing to breathe with the heavy killer intent Naruto was releasing. Be careful, Hayashi-sama. Attacking a leaf shinobi is a crime, primarily with so many witnesses, Naruto said in a deeper voice and pointed out to many people around him. Pretty much everyone was shocked that Naruto managed to remove the seal from Hinata. Demon, Hayashi pointed out as he regained his breath and got up. Naruto was prepared to end his life as he broke the third's law, but thankfully the Hokage arrived just in time to prevent anything from happening. Hayashi, are you mental? The Hokage asked. Naruto is right. The moment you rejected your daughter, you lost any authority over her. She belongs to the village now, and it will stay like that until she chooses otherwise, the Hokage said, and Hayashi scoffed. We shall have words later, Hayashi said in his regained stoic face as he turned around with the elders to their seats. That went well, Naruto said, and Hinata nodded. The Hokage just sighed. That Naruto only gives him headaches. As if the civilian council wasn't enough, no, he had the Hyugas on his ass too. I'm getting too old for this shit, the Hokage thought as he made his back to the Kage box. Chapter 20 In Between Tales. The old Hokage made his way towards the Kage box and thought. That Naruto, to think he was able to remove the caged bird seal with killing the host. You would be so proud, Minato. He has already surpassed you in seals. Everything alright, Hokage Dano? The Raikage asked. Yes, that Naruto always gives me headaches, the Hokage said, sighing. Now that Hinata revealed that Naruto is able to remove the caged bird seal, the Hyugas will have a field day. Especially the main house, since they treat the branch house like slaves. If the branch house managed to get rid of the seal, they would surely rebel against the main house, and since they outnumber them almost 5-1, it wouldn't be pretty for the main house. In the end, Hinata got off well and only got thrown out of the clan instead of being sent to the branch side of the family. Indeed. To be that skilled with seals at such young age. He really honors the Uzumaki clan, the Raikage said. He will be a major threat in the future if he continues like this. What to do? The Raikage mused in thought. The Kazekage seethed his teeth and cursed the damn blonde in his thought. That brat is getting too dangerous. To think he managed to hold me long enough for the ANBU to arrive, even more is his work with seals. He might be able to remove the cursed seal, and I can't allow that. I'll make sure he dies today, Orochimaru thought. You didn't even see the tip of the iceberg, Raikage, the Hokage said, making the Raikage narrow his eyes. Yes, I know he's the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, the Raikage said, much to the shock of the old Hokage. How do you know? The Hokage asked, narrowing his eyes at the Raikage and studying him. You forget I have the Nibi Jinchuriki competing, and my brother, the Hachibi Jinchuriki, is their Jonin sensei. They all met before the beginning of the exams, the Raikage said, chuckling. But I wonder how much control he has over the beast, the Raikage said, eyeing the Hokage. Who knows? I never sensed him training with its chakra, so I wouldn't know, the Hokage replied. He's your Jinchuriki and you don't know? The Raikage asked in disbelief. Like I told you, Naruto is very secretive and special. I know he's been training himself since he was 5 years old, the Hokage said, lightly chuckling. Did you know that when your father arranged the Hyuga kidnapping, Naruto was the one that killed the kidnapper and rescued the heiress? The Hokage said, and chuckled even more when everyone stared at the Hokage, thinking he was crazy. You surely must be joking. How can a 6-year-old kill a Jonin? True, he wasn't an elite Jonin, but still, a 6-year-old that didn't even enter the academy. The only thing I can think of was the Kyuubi helping, the Raikage said. I assure you I'm not joking, Raikage Dano. When I arrived at the scene, Naruto was holding Hinata and the kidnapper had a kunai in his chest, the Hokage explained, and the Raikage seethed his teeth. Then the Kyuubi is the only explanation, the Raikage said, crossing his arms. I doubt it, the Hokage said, and everyone focused on him. When I arrived at the scene, there wasn't any trace of the Kyuubi's chakra being used. I didn't see the battle, but from what he told me, Naruto tricked him with a clone and finished him when he got the opportunity, the Hokage explained. Looks like you have been hiding a diamond, the Kazekage said. If he was that skilled at such young age, why is he still a genin? The Kazekage asked. You all know how Jinchurikis are treated, right? The Hokage asked, and everyone nodded. Everyone seemed to be interested in the young blonde. He chose to hide his strength. He decided to take the full academy course so he could have time to train himself and be able to protect himself and anyone he cares about. The Hokage finished explaining. Deception. The true shinobi way, the Kazekage said. You know something, Raikage? The Hokage asked, chuckling. What? Raikage asked. Your village tends to create some of our best couples. You kidnapped Uzumaki Kushina and she was rescued by Namake's Minato, and they later became a couple. A few years ago you kidnapped Hinata and Naruto rescued her. Now they are boyfriend and girlfriend and are living together, the Hokage said, laughing. Are you saying you have another Yellow Flash and Red Death in the making? The Raikage asked. The Yondaime Hokage was something of a rival in terms of speed to the Raikage. The Yondaime was the only man to ever dodge a frontal attack from the Raikage while using his famous lightning armor. The Yondaime's wife and Naruto's mother was Uzumaki Kushina. In truth, she was Senju Kushina, but no one knew, also known in the bingo book as aka Nosure, Red Death, due her vibrant blood-red hair. She was a very powerful kunoichi and extremely talented in Suiton ninjutsu and kenjutsu. I have faith in them. Every generation is supposed to surpass the previous, the Hokage wisely said. I've been wondering something. Hokage Dano, wasn't Hyuga Hinata supposed to be the heiress? Why did she have the caged bird seal? And why is she living with the blonde brat if she is a Hyuga? The Raikage asked. Simple enough. Hinata's father thought she was weak and disavowed from the clan and placed the seal on her. Then she went to live with Naruto and things went on from there, the Hokage explained. Weak? She just defeated the so-called Hyuga prodigy, the Kazekage said. What can I say? Naruto has a way to encourage people, and I bet he has been training with her since she was expelled, the Hokage explained. I look forward to see his match against the last Uchiha, the Raikage said. It will be an interesting match, the Hokage said. I wonder if he will reveal his Sharingan, the Hokage thought. Now let's continue watching the matches. It looks like it's the second match is about to start, the Hokage said, and everyone turned to the arena, with crowd. Fu from Taki and Yugito from Kumo, please came to the arena to begin your match. Hate called out from the arena. Good luck, Fu Yugito, Naruto said to both of them as they made their way towards the arena. Who do you think will win? Hinata asked. Naruto brought his right hand to his chin in a thinking pose. I don't really know what they can do, so it's hard for me to say. Naruto started. If they use their partners, then Fu would win if she has enough control. Otherwise, can't really say because I don't know their individual skills. Naruto explained. Hey Kurenai-sensei, you fought with Fu against those Oto Jonin when we went to Taki, right? Hinata asked. Yes, why do you ask? Kurenai asked. She wasn't paying particular attention to their conversation since she was watching both Jinchurikis made their way towards the middle of the arena. We are trying to find out who will win since she will fight me next. What can you tell me about Fu? Hinata asked. Kurenai thought before beginning. Well, for starters, she didn't need to use her Bijuu's chakra. Her taijutsu was nothing special. I'd put her around low chunin level. However, her ninjutsu is far better. She was primarily a water user, but she had a few secret and bug techniques. Kurenai explained. Hey, Naruto said and got their attention. I remember what Kabuto said about Yugito during the first stage of the Chunin exams. He said she was good at both taijutsu and ninjutsu, so I would assume around mid-chunin level on both. Naruto said. Nothing you can't handle, Naruto said, and she nodded and looked to the arena. You sure have a lot of faith in her, Asuma said, and he joined the conversation since his curiosity was piqued when they began to talk. Of course I have faith on my girlfriend, Naruto said, grinning, and Asuma mumbled something about lucky blonde brats. Did you see what she did to Neji? He asked almost rhetorically. Everyone saw Neji getting his ass kicked by the supposed shy former heiress of the Hyuga clan. Yes, I saw, good job. It will be good to that arrogant ass, Asuma said, chuckling. Though I never expected her to win, he said honestly. Don't you faith in my teachings? Kurenai asked in a dangerous voice. Of course not, Kurenai-chan, Asuma quickly replied, waving his hands trying to dismiss the situation before she casted a genjutsu on him. Asterisk cough star, whipped, cough, Naruto discreetly said, and Asuma narrowed his eyes at the blonde. What was that, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked in a very sweet voice. Nothing, Hina-chan, Naruto quickly said, and Asuma slightly laughed. Troublesome women, Shikamaru said. Arena. Both contestants ready? Hade asked. Hai both replied. Hajime, Hade said, and jumped out of their way. He knew they were both Jinchurikis and he didn't want to get caught in the middle of them. Shall we keep them out of the fight? Fu asked. Yugito thought for a while. Most of Yugito techniques rely on her using her Bijuu's chakra. Not that she was weak without her cat, but the fact she trained primarily in using her Bijuu, if removed, it would cripple her ninjutsu. How about we keep it to 2 tails max? Yugito asked. Sounds good, Fu replied and took a kunai and got in her stance as Yugito pulled her sword from her back. Yugito quickly ran forward and tried a horizontal slash. Fu quickly ducked and rolled to the side. She quickly got up and tried to kick Yugito in the chest. Yugito, however, managed to completely bend the top of her body backwards almost to a 90-degree angle, avoiding the kick as it passed safely above her. With crowd, Naruto whistled when he Yugito bend like that. That kind of flexibility isn't possible for humans. Even if she is a shinobi, bending at such an angle should have broken her spine. That's the Nibi's effect. Her hosts have an extremely high flexibility due to the fact Nibi being a cat. Kurama explained to Naruto. How come I have nothing of useful from you? Naruto asked. Ungrateful brat. You have high regeneration and negative emotion sensing ability. Kurama explained. That's good and all, but that isn't particularly effective in combat. Naruto replied. What do you mean isn't useful? Your sensing ability coupled with your Sharingan makes it impossible for anyone to hide from you. Kurama explained. For someone who is so smart, he sometimes could still be a knucklehead. Maybe all that pretending during academy days affected him. Never thought of that, Naruto said, and Kurama's sweat dropped. Arena Fu and Yugito exchanged punches, kicks, and strikes for a few minutes. Even though the fight came tight, it seemed that Yugito clearly had the advantage in taijutsu. Her flexibility made it very difficult for Fu to hit her, even more since Yugito was using a sword. Kumoryu Kanjiri, Cloud Style, Flame Slice. Yugito said, slashed horizontally towards Fu. Yugito's sword was imbued with fire, and as such it created a fire ring around Fu, preventing her from leaving the area. Suetun Mizurapa, water release, wild water wave. Fu said and gathered water in her mouth. She quickly gushed the water out from her mouth and quickly put out the flames. She's a water user. She will have advantage in ninjutsu, but I seem to an edge on taijutsu. Yugito thought as she watched Fu perform the low-level Suetun jutsu to put out the fire. Katon, Gakkaku no Jutsu, great fireball technique. Yugito said and unleashed a hot fireball towards Fu. Fu, noticing it was a fireball and not a fire stream, quickly jumped to the right, dodging the fireball. Yugito quickly appeared next to her and said, Kyumori Omotajiri, cloud style, front slice. Yugito made a very fast horizontal slice and Fu's head separated cleanly from her shoulders. Yugito didn't think she would have been defeated this easily, and her suspicions were true when Fu turned into a piece of rock, showing Fu performed a kawarimi. Suetun Teppadama, water bullet, Fu said and shot a couple of compressed water bullets from her mouth. Yugito turned just in time to see Fu perform the jutsu. In a show of speed, Yugito used her sword and sliced through every single bullet, taking no damage from it. Kage box. Looks like this year's genin are talented, the Hokage commented. Very true. Usually elemental ninjutsu is only trained after becoming a chunin, the Kazekage said. What did you expect from Jinchurikis? The Raikage asked rhetorically before continuing. Even without using their Biju's chakra, they develop high chakra reserves, so they tend to go for ninjutsu very early, the Raikage commented. True, the Hokage replied. By the way, after seeing the Hyuga's match, I firmly recommend Hyuga Hinata for chunin. She remained calm even though her opponent was taunting her, and she displayed a high level of taijutsu, the Hokage explained. Agreed, both the Kazekage and the Raikage said. With the crowd. As expected, Yugito has the advantage in taijutsu, but they seem to tie in ninjutsu. If this continues, Yugito will win, Naruto said. I have better taijutsu than Yugito, and I mainly use Suetun ninjutsu, so if Yugito wins I have the advantage, Hinata thought. Looks like they are about to take this up a notch, Naruto said, and they turned to face the arena. Arena. Shall we bring our partners into the battle? Fu asked, and Yugito eagerly nodded. She was anxious to show everyone her true power. Bring it on, Yugito replied. Let's go, Nibi, Yugito said. Right, kitten, Nibi replied. Let's show them Chome, Fu said. Alright, Chome replied, pumping something into the air. Not really sure if it was a wing or an arm. Everyone in the crowd watching in amazement, as red chakra seemed to envelop both contestants. The red chakra radiated from both her stomachs and swirled around them before stopping. When it stopped, both of them were fully enclosed in a semi-transparent red chakra cloak with two tails swirling in their back. With crowd. What's happening? Sakura asked. She had never seen someone being enveloped in a chakra. In fact, she had never even heard of red chakra for that matter, so what she was seeing was completely new. That is what is called the Jinchuriki cloak, Naruto explained. What? Sakura asked, not really understanding. Do you know what a bishi is? Asuma asked. You mean like the kyubi? Sakura asked. Yes. There are 9 bijus starting from the ichibi and ending in the kyubi. People that have a biju sealed inside them are called Jinchurikis, and when they use their biju power, that's what happens, Asuma explained, pointing towards the arena. Wow, Sakura said, astonished. But, Sakura started, and everyone turned to her. I thought that the Yondaime killed the kyubi, but you can't kill a biju, which means that someone in our village has the kyubi inside of him, Sakura said. You are smarter than you look, Naruto said, chuckling. Shut up, Naruto baka, Sakura screeched. Asuma-sensei, who is our Jinchuriki? Sakura asked, and Naruto looked at Asuma to see if he going to reveal it to her. Everything about the kyubi is a secret. Only chunins and above know about him, Asuma explained, and Naruto sighed in relief. He didn't want to have to explain everything to the crazy banshee. Knowing her, she would probably want Naruto to release the kyubi and give it to Sasuke. Some secret, Naruto thought, not realizing he said it out loud. What do you mean, Naruto baka? Do you know him? Sakura asked, but it was more a demand. Keep it down, Sakura, and yes, I do know who he is, Naruto replied. How can a baka like you know? Sakura smugly asked. Shove a bijudama, tailed beast ball, up her ass right here, Kurama said, and Naruto chuckled in his mind. Can't do a bijudama in here, but I can do a Rasengan, Naruto replied. Why do you want me to tell you? Naruto asked. I want to know who he is so he can give it to Sasuke-kun, Sakura said, and everyone stared at her. Is she crazy? Asuma asked in thought. I need to talk to Kakashi to see if he sends her to a few sessions with Inoichi. Kurenai thought. That level of obsession is going to be her downfall sometime. Damn, that is some dedicated fangirl, Kurama said. How do you know about fangirls? Naruto asked curiously. Let's just say I was very popular when I was a kid, Kurama said, slightly embarrassed. Don't tell me you were chased by females kitsens? Naruto asked incredulously. Yeah, Kurama replied, remembering his dark days. Looks like every race has fangirls, Naruto said, laughing. It's not a it, it's a him, Naruto explained. How would you know, Baka? Sakura screeched once again. Hinata approached her and gave her a Juken strike to her throat, disabling her voice. You are too loud, Sakura, Hinata said, and Sakura tried to curse her, but no sound came from her mouth. Even though no one said anything, they were all happy that Sakura was silent for once. That Naruto seems to know a lot about bijus. He said that there were only 5 people that could open the gates, and Hinata said that 3 of them were in the tower's arena. If Fu is a Jinchuriki and can open the gates, it stands to reason that Naruto is the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. That would explain his treatment. Troublesome blondes, Shikamaru thought as he overheard the entire conversation. If you stop screaming, I'll open your tenketsu, Hinata said, and Sakura nodded sadly. Naruto, Sakura said calmly while looking at Hinata. She nodded and Sakura continued. How do you know that the Kyuubi is a he? She asked. I've read a lot about them. And even though they aren't humans, they aren't things. For instance, Yugito has the Nibi sealed inside of her. She's a cat. The Bija have their own personality like every other animal out there, Naruto explained, and Sakura nodded. So, Sakura began. Will you tell me who the Jinchuriki is? She asked in a very sweet voice, trying to know who he is. Why do you want to know so badly? Naruto asked. Oh, come on, Naruto, I want to know too, Ino said. Everyone stared at the blonde, wondering if he was going to tell them who he was. The rookies were all oblivious about the Jinchuriki's identity, but among all of them there were a few that knew. The Jonins, of course, Hinata and Shino and the Sand team. Are you sure you want to tell them? Hinata asked. Yes, I do. They will find out eventually, might as well tell them now and get this over with, Naruto said, and everyone turned to him. Fine, I'll tell who he is, Naruto said, and everyone almost had star in their eyes. First, I'll say that he's our classmate from the academy, Naruto said, and everyone was shocked. Naruto chuckled and continued. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, he said, and an immediate silence followed his proclamation. Yeah, right. The dead last has the most powerful bija sealed inside of him, Kiba said, and everyone snapped from their stupor and laughed. You want me to show you my version 1 cloak? Naruto asked, and they all stopped laughing. Are you serious? Kiba asked. Naruto summoned the Kyuubi's chakra and immediately went to his version cloak with 2 tails as well. His eyes were blood red with black vertical slit, his whiskers were more pronounced, and his fangs grew bigger. Around his body the same semi-transparent blood red chakra cloak with 2 tails swirling behind him. Deadly, Naruto replied, but his voice was deeper than his usual due to the Kyuubi's chakra. Believe me now? He asked, and they all nodded, slightly scared of his new voice and appearance. Now that you know, what are you going to do? He asked. Nothing, Kiba said. You don't think I'm a monster? Naruto asked. Naruto didn't really care what they thought. As long he had the people that cared for him, he was happy. Of course not. I know the difference between kunai and the scroll, Kiba said. Thanks, maybe you should tell that to the villagers, Naruto said, sighing as he focused on the fight that was going on the arena. The arena was almost totally destroyed from the battle between 2 Jinchurikis. The arena was filled with water, and yet the earth was scorched from Yugito's flames. Both of them were showing symptoms of fatigue. Even though they had plenty of chakra, they didn't the stamina to keep up. Katan, Aogakakyu no Jutsu, Great Blue Fireball Technique. Yugito called out and sent a huge blue fireball towards Fu. The fireball was empowered by the Nib's chakra, giving a blue color, and almost triple the power. Suetun Daibakufu no Jutsu, Waterfall Vortex. Fu called out, and water from the ground rose in front of her and formed a vortex of sorts. The water immediately blasted from the vortex and clashed with the fireball. The clash produced a big steam cloud that covered most of the arena. Yugito took this opportunity and channeled Nibi's chakra to her nails, increasing the length and resistance of them. As the steam cloud dispersed, she quickly dashed towards Fu. Fu didn't expect Yugito to come at her so soon, and wasn't prepared for her slash with her fingernails. Fu received the full brunt force of the slash from both hands to her chest and right leg. She jumped back and clutched her chest. Her mesh armor managed to absorb most of the damage, but it still managed to cut her pretty deeply. Fu focused Komiai's chakra in her chest area and the wound immediately started to heal. A few seconds later there wasn't evidence of anything had even happened. Fu used Komiai's chakra and focused to her back. From her back emerged two wings and Fu started to lift off from the ground and flew in the air a few meters above the ground. Fu continued to dodge multiple fireballs sent Yugito as she prepared her bugs to attack. Yugito quickly ran up the wall in the arena in all fours, much like a cat. Yugito propelled herself from the wall and tackled Fu while in the air. Yugito pinned Fu's legs and arms so she couldn't escape and stood above her as they plummeted towards the earth. Yugito focused chakra to her legs and just as they were about to crash, Yugito jumped up sending Fu to the ground even harder. Beyond the arena ground shook from the impact and cloud of dust emerged. Yugito's cloak vanished, and she was breathing a bit heavily, nothing that a bit of rest wouldn't solve. The dust started to clear to show Fu completely knocked out. Hate approached Fu and noticing she was unconscious called the medics. "Winner by knockout, ni Yugito," Hate said, and the crowd erupted in cheers. After all, the civilians can only watch genins fight, otherwise they wouldn't be able to keep up with the battle, and a battle like this is rare. Kagebox. "That's my girl," Raikage said, proud that Yugito had won. Yugito was an orphan since her parents died when the Hachibi was accidentally unleashed, so the Raikage took her in and raised her like his own daughter. "They both fought very well and both seemed to have good control over their power. I'd recommend both for Chunin," Kazekage said. Indeed, the Hokage agreed with both Kages. With crowd congrats Yugito, Naruto said, giving her a thumbs up. "Thank you. It was a hard fight," Yugito replied. "I sensed the Kyuubi's chakra from down there." "What were you doing?" she asked. "Just showing my friends my cloak," Naruto said like it was nothing. "It will take a while for them to get used to me being a Jinchuriki, but I think they will warm up to me," he said as he looked at the smiling faces of his friends and surprisingly enough Sakura too. "You told them you are a Jinchuriki?" she asked, not believing her ears. "Of course. I told them during your match as I explained them your two-tail cloak," Naruto explained. "Why do you ask?" he asked. "Because you know very well how we are treated, and for you to publicly flaunt that you're a Jinchuriki is rather strange," Yugito said. "B does the same. But I have people that care about me knowing what I am. Their opinion is the only thing that matters to me. The others I just shrug them off, and if they try anything they end up in the hospital with broken bones," Naruto said, and Yugito dumbly nodded. "Naro, Shikamaru and Sabaku no Temari, please make your towards the arena," Hate called out. "Cannon style." "That lazy ass," Ino said, face palming. "What did you expect from Shikamaru?" Naruto said. "I guess," Ino replied. "Because it would be too troublesome to explain," Naruto said, grinning, and a few snickered. "If Sasuke doesn't arrive, he's going to be disqualified," Naruto said. "I thought I took care Kakashi's bad habits," Naruto said out loud. Kagebox. "That was anticlimactic," the Hokage said, and he watched Shikamaru give up. "Yes, but he displayed a very good tactical mind. As expected from a Nara," the Raikage thought. The Kazekage remained silent. "Do you agree that he should be a Chunin?" the Hokage asked, and they both nodded. "The Chunin are leaders, and he displayed very good planning and remained calm, even thought he probably knew he wouldn't win," the Raikage said. "Uzumaki, Naruto, and Uchiha Sasuke, please make your way towards the arena," Hate called out. "Looks like the Uchiha is no show, what a shame," the Raikage said. "Yes, looks like he will be disqualified," the Hokage said, and getting ready to get up and disqualify him when the Kazekage interrupted him. "Please wait, Hokage Dano. I wish to see the Uchiha fight that Uzumaki. Naruto, let's continue with the rest of the matches until he arrives," the Kazekage said. "You do realize that if he isn't capable of respecting appointments, then he isn't Chunin material," the Hokage said. "If I understand correctly, Hatake Kakashi has the knack for arriving hours late to any appointment, and he's an elite jonin," the Kazekage smugly said. The Hokage knew that the Kazekage had a point and there was nothing he could do to argue. "As you wish, but if he isn't here when is his time, then he will be disqualified," the Hokage said. Of course, the Kazekage replied. The Hokage turned to his bodyguard and he went to Hate and explained the situation. As Uchiha Sasuke has yet to show up, we will proceed with the matches, Hate said. Sabaka no Gaara and Sabaka no Kankuro, please proceed to the arena, Hate called out. Proctor, I forfeit, Kankuro yelled from the balconies. Okay. Winner by forfeit, Sabaka no Gaara, Hate said. Uzumaki, Naruto, and Uchiha Sasuke, please make your way to the arena, Hate called out. That was some time the Uchiha gained, the Raikage said, chuckling. Then in the arena the wind started gathering and leaves started spinning. Everyone watched the scene unfold. A few seconds later Uchiha Sasuke appeared with Hatake Kakashi via Leaf Shunshin. I hope we aren't late, Kakashi said while sheepishly rubbing the back of his head. You arrived just in time, Hate said. Name? He asked. Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, Sasuke replied in his almighty tone. Naruto was leaving the balcony towards the arena when Sakura called out. Naruto, she called, getting his attention. Please don't hurt him too much, she said. Naruto never in a million years expected her to say something like that to him. Don't worry, I won't use the Kyuubi if that's what you are saying. I prefer using my own power, he replied, but the worry face she had didn't change. I won't kill him, relax, he said, and she let out a breath she didn't even know she was holding. Arena. I was getting the impression you wouldn't come, Sasuke, Naruto said while approaching the three in the arena. Why wouldn't I come? I'm only fighting you, Sasuke said. I see your attitude hasn't changed, Naruto replied and turned towards Kakashi. I hope you didn't tell him about my bloodline, Naruto said, and Sasuke scowled. Don't worry, the only thing I told him is that he knows your bloodline as well he knows his own, Kakashi said. Ah. The wordplay, Naruto said, chuckling, and got a confused face from Sasuke. You'll know soon enough, he said, and Kakashi left the arena. Uzumaki Naruto vs Uchiha Sasuke ready? Hate called out, and both nodded. Hajime. Chapter 21, Sharingan vs Sharingan. Kage box. Looks like the Uchiha arrived just in time, the Raikage commented. Indeed, the Hokage agreed. Let's see how much you grew, Sasuke-kun, the Kazekage thought. Let's see what your prodigy can do, the Raikage said. In fact, he was hoping that the Uchiha was humiliated. He read reports from his Genin team that the Uchiha thought he was almighty. Prodigy, the Hokage started getting the attention of both Kages. Nowadays people throw that name around without knowing its true meaning. The true prodigies are Uzumaki Naruto and Hyuga Hinata, and I have high hopes for both of them, the Hokage said with a small smile. He never thought that his surrogate grandson would grow so much after a rough early life like he had. You sure are attached to that particular kid, the Raikage commented, narrowing his eyes at the blonde in the arena. That kid reminds me of someone, the Raikage thought. Something on your mind? The Hokage asked the Raikage. The blonde brat Uzumaki Naruto, he seems to remind me of someone. I just can't pinpoint it, the Raikage said. Who were his parents? He asked, and the Hokage and Jiraiya both stiffened. Should I tell him? The Hokage thought. Better not. I'll let Naruto choose when to reveal his true heritage, the Hokage concluded. I'm afraid even I don't know. He's an orphan from the Kyuubi attack, the Hokage replied. The Raikage looked carefully at the Hokage to spot any sign of lie but found none. It's a shame, the Raikage said, and both the Hokage and Jiraiya let out a breath of relief. Though the kid has style, to emulate the hairstyle of one of your founders, Uchiha Madara, the Raikage commented, and the Hokage and Jiraiya were once again sweating bullets. How could the Raikage almost figure out his grandfather's identity? The Raikage wasn't as blunt as people said he was. That hairstyle is just to make it easier for him to use a couple of jutsus I taught him, Jiraiya said, trying to shift the Raikage's attention. Oh, found another Namake's Minato, have you? He looks a lot like him actually, the Raikage said with his hand on his chin. Damn it, Jiraiya, you never know when to keep your mouth shut, the Hokage thought, glaring at his student, making him gulp. During this whole interaction the Kazekage, Orochimaru, was silent, hearing them talk and thinking about it. The brat actually looks a lot like him, the Kazekage thought. Orochimaru kept thinking about it when something clicked on his mind. Of course. Uzumaki Naruto, how could I have been so blind? There was only one Uzumaki in this village, Uzumaki Kushina, and everyone knew she was involved with Minato. That also explains why Minato sealed the QB inside the brat. He used his own son. The Raikage isn't all muscle as I thought. Orochimaru thought, chuckling in his mind. Are you planning on taking another apprentice? The Raikage asked, breaking the thought of Orochimaru. Maybe, but I don't stay in the village much time. It's a shame I won't be able to pass my toad contract to him. Jiraiya said, wondering if the toad contract would die with him. Oh, which contract does he have? The Raikage asked curiously. Should I tell them? It would only strengthen Konoha if the enemies knew of another contract. Jiraiya thought before replying. He has the Fox contract, Jiraiya said. What? There is no Fox contract, the Raikage stated. I didn't know it existed too, but there is one. He's the first Fox summoner ever. Apparently the QB took a liking in him, Jiraiya explained. A major threat indeed, Orochimaru thought as he planned a way to get rid of the brat. Looks like they are starting, the Hokage said before the Raikage could reply, and all shifted their attention towards the arena. With crowd. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura called out. Yo, he replied, cutting it a little close, weren't you? Asuma said. Training to the last minute and arriving late, you never change, Asuma said. I was going to arrive on time, but a black cat crossed my path and we had to walk the way around him, Kakashi said, rubbing the back of his head and laughing. Geez, Sakura said. I bet Sasuke-kun is way stronger now, she said. I trained him to my best extent during this month, but I don't think he stands a chance against Naruto, Kakashi said, much to the shock of a few genin. But Naruto was the dead last during the whole academy time. He just got lucky in the final exam. I don't understand, Ino said. Kakashi looked at her as if she grew a second head. Didn't you see what he did in the preliminaries? He asked rhetorically. It's true, Sakura said. Kakashi's eyes widened to the size of dinner plates when he heard Sasuke's #1 fangirl agreeing that Sasuke doesn't stand a chance. Sasuke fought Lee before the first stage, and even with his Sharingan he was defeated, and yet Naruto won, and he didn't use the QB's power, Sakura said. How do you know about that? Kakashi asked, slightly surprised. He told us while Yugito was fighting against Fu, Sakura explained. Kakashi was surprised that Naruto would publicly announce he's a Jinchuriki, but he must have figured it would be public knowledge any day now. Never thought I would see another one, much less see 5 here, Zabuza said. What do you mean 5? Sakura asked. You don't know? Well, there is Naruto, of course, Yugito, Fukumo's Jonin sensei, and finally that sand brat Gaara, Zabuza explained. Gaara is one also? Sakura asked, not believing her ears. Yes, I believe he has the Ichibi, also known as Shikaku, Kakashi explained. That's why he's so strong, Sakura said in wow. She went from not knowing what Jinchuriki were to knowing 5 of them. You're wrong, Sakura, Kakashi said, getting her attention. Gaara is strong on his own. He doesn't need his demon to be strong. In fact, I believe he might be better without it, Kakashi said. What do you mean? Sakura asked. Each Bija has their own personality and personal preferences. Shikaku tends to drive their hosts crazy, so they might set him free. That's why Gaara is so unstable, Kakashi said, and all of the genin shivered minus Hinata, who already knew all that. Don't worry, if that ever happened we would take matters into our own hands, Kakashi said. It's best they know about this so they can get out of the way when it begins, Kakashi thought. Sakura and the rest of the genins sighed in relief. However, the Jonins and even Zabuza himself knew what would happen, and they were all ready in case Naruto couldn't handle Gaara. Arena, Hajime. Hate called out and jumped out of the 2. Ready, Sasuke? Naruto asked as he got into his dragon fist stance. Naruto looked at Sasuke and noticed he didn't move since the match started. He didn't even have any stance. Don't tell me you don't consider me worthy of fighting? Naruto asked. That's right, Sasuke said, pointing at him. I don't even want to waste any time fighting some clanless shinobi and trash like you, Sasuke said, and Naruto immediately dropped in stance. You won't be saying that when I grind your ass to the ground, Naruto said, grinning like an idiot. Just because you are wearing Umbu chest plate armor and you grew your hair doesn't mean anything against me, Sasuke said. You are nothing but a loser, I bet you're whore of a MOT dash. Sasuke didn't get to finish as Naruto blurred from his position and slammed his fists right into Sasuke's face and sent him tumbling to the ground. You can call me what you want, but I won't allow you to insult my parents, Naruto said, getting ready to smash his pompous face into the dirt. Sasuke got up and cleaned a bit of blood from his lip. He activated his Sharingan and got into his stance, the interceptor fist. Touchy are we? Sasuke smugly asked. Looks like the brat wants physiological warfare, Kurama said. Don't worry, I've a few things to give him back. I know some stuff about his massacre and his brother if need be. Naruto replied in thought. Looks like you are taking me serious, Naruto said. I don't need to worry about you, Dobe. Only an Uchiha can defeat an Uchiha, Sasuke simply said. Is that right? Naruto asked rhetorically. Sasuke smirked and went through a few hand seals and shouted. Katan, Gakaku no Jutsu, great fireball technique. Sasuke sent a medium-sized fireball towards Naruto, who remained in place and took the full force of it. Sasuke smirked as he watched his attack hit him head-on and burn him in a pile of flames. With his Sharingan activated, he knew Naruto didn't dodge. The smoke cleared and Sasuke immediately dropped his smile, seeing Naruto completely wrapped in his spiky golden air. Ninpahari Jaizu, Needle Guardian, Naruto said as his hair started to shrink back to his original size. Naruto immediately flashed off hand seals of his own and said, Ninpu Kibari Senban, Hair Needle Senban. Naruto's hair extended once again and enlarged. Naruto bent slightly forward and sent a barrage of senbons, made of his hair, towards Sasuke. Sasuke said, Katan, Gakaku no Jutsu, great fireball technique. But this time, instead of a focused fireball, he transformed it into a constant stream of fire, much like a flamethrower. Sasuke's fire clashed with Naruto's senbon, vaporizing them, but Sasuke quickly ran out of air in his lungs and was forced to stop his fire. The senbon kept on coming and Sasuke was forced to start evasive maneuvers. I can't keep dodging with this speed or I'll tire out quickly. I have to retaliate, Sasuke thought. Sasuke took a few shurikens from his pouch and threw them at Naruto while going trough hand seals. Shuriken Kaigebushin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone, Sasuke said as his shurikens multiplied into dozens upon dozens. Naruto, seeing this, dropped his hair attack and decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. Futon Repushu, Wind Wave, Naruto said and clapped his hands together. He channeled chakra to the wind around him and suddenly a powerful gust of wind emerged from his palms and crashed into the shurikens. The shurikens stopped mid-air and changed their direction before gaining speed and heading towards Sasuke. Sasuke saw the attack incoming and took a kunai to start deflecting. When he knew he was getting overrun by the amount, which ironically enough it was him that created that many, he jumped to right to dodge the rest. Why couldn't I copy those jutsu? Sasuke asked in thought, getting pissed off. Naruto saw the scowl on his face and decided to push him a little further. Sad that you couldn't copy these jutsus? Naruto asked. Why the hell can't I copy you? Sasuke asked, losing his temper. You still don't know how to use your eyes, Naruto said, making Sasuke narrow his eyes at him. A/N, no pun intended. Your two-tomod Sharingan can't keep up with my hand seal's speed, and because of that you aren't able to copy my jutsu. Simple as that, Naruto explained. A shame, really, Naruto said sarcastically. How do you know so much about the Sharingan? Sasuke asked, yelling at him. Sasuke, I thought you were smarter than this, Naruto said, grinning. Naruto was picturing Sasuke's smug face when he showed another pair of Sharingan eyes. What do you mean? Sasuke asked, confused. First, I know a lot about the Sharingan. 2, I said people consider my bloodline the strongest in the world. 3rd, Kakashi said you knew my bloodline as well as you know yours. What do you get from this? Naruto asked, watching Sasuke's face suddenly light up in realization. Why, you don't mean? Sasuke asked, stuttering for the first time. Yes, I do, Naruto said and closed his eyes. He slowly opened them to show a glowing pair of fully matured Sharingan eyes. You can't be, Sasuke said, watching a 3-tomod Sharingan glowing in the Dobe's eyes. Kai, Sasuke yelled and flared his chakra, but nothing happened. Kai, Sasuke repeated, but the Sharingan remained. I can't dispel it because it isn't an illusion. I have the Sharingan, oh almighty last Uchiha, Naruto smugly said. How dare you have those eyes? You don't deserve them. Sasuke yelled and ran to Naruto at full speed with a sloppy stance, losing his better judgment due to his anger. Sasuke was getting closer and closer to Naruto, and faster than lightning Naruto kicked Sasuke hard in the chest and sent him flying to the wall. Sasuke slowly got up, coughing a bit. Now Sasuke-chan, don't get mad just because my eyes are fully matured and yours aren't, Naruto said, making Sasuke's eye twitch in annoyance. You know Sasuke. Naruto started getting his attention. I awakened my Sharingan at 5 years old, and at 6 I already had them fully matured. Naruto explained, and Sasuke's eyes almost popped out of their sockets, but Sasuke managed to hold them in place, otherwise he would lose his precious Sharingan. Sasuke boiled. If looks could kill, Naruto would be dust by now. I told you, you weren't as special as you thought. You only activated your precious eyes a couple of weeks ago, while I already have fully matured Sharingan for almost 8 years. Naruto said, grinning and mentally congratulating himself. It felt so good to rub his fully matured eyes on Sasuke's arrogant ass, and if Naruto showed him his EMS, then Sasuke would more likely faint, but he would keep the EMS as an ace. His EMS might not have any powerful direct attack for now, but it was his ultimate defense. Unless I send my enemy to my pocket dimension and let him starve to death. Naruto thought, chuckling, considering what types of attacks he could use with his Kamui, but quickly refocused on the battle at hand. Now Sasuke, Naruto started with his Sharingan spinning. Let me show you the true power of the Sharingan. Kagebox, another Uchiha, Raikage said, stupefied. Now I understand when you said he was special. To think you had another Uchiha hidden, Raikage said, chuckling. Another pair of Sharingan eyes, delicious. A shame I can't risk using his body due to the Kyuubi. Orochimaru said, sighing as he watched Naruto's eyes glow in all their power. He would be a much more appropriate vessel than Sasuke-kun, oh well. Orochimaru sighed, knowing you can have everything you want, but, in the end, Sasuke's Sharingan would suffice. The Hokage laughed. Yes, he's very special and powerful in his own way, the Hokage said. Make me proud, kid, Jiraiya thought as he watched his godson present his Sharingan to the last Uchiha. With crowd, Kakashi watched with pride as Naruto unveiled his bloodline. The Sharingan, it's said to be the most powerful bloodline of all, capable of seeing chakra, copying any taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, and giving the user the ability to cast genjutsu with their eyes. But that doesn't even scratch the bottom of the Sharingan's true power, Kakashi thought as he remembered when Naruto told him about his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Kakashi frowned when he noticed how Sasuke didn't keep his head cool, but then again, when it's something related to his clan, Kakashi knew Sasuke would snap. SSH Sharingan, Sakura said. And like Kakashi-sensei, they have 3 black things, she said in wow. The black things are called tomos, and the eyes are fully matured when they have 3. Kakashi explained. Every single genin was shocked, minus Hinata and Shino, of course. The elders of Konoha had their jaw in the ground, as most of the civilians. That brat, now I understand how he could keep up with me, Zabuza commented as he remembered a few spars he had with him. Yes, and I also understand how he could see my moves when I used my ice mirrors on him, Haku said, remembering their battle in the wave, and how Naruto was able to dodge every single summon she threw at him. Sharingan? One of the Hyuga elders gasped. This changes everything, Hayashi said. He already had a plan regarding the Uzumaki brat, but now that he knew about the Sharingan, things would have to be arranged differently. YOSH. The flames of youth shine brightly on Naruto Kyuan, Lee yelled. Yes, Lee and Tio keep our own flames, we shall deal 1,000 laps around Konoha, Guy said. Gi-sensei. Lee. Gi-sensei. Lee. Oh, for Kami's sake, stop that, Tenten said as she rained kunais and shurikens on them. Kyuubi Jinchuriki and a Sharingan user? I knew blondes were troublesome, Shikamaru said, sighing, and went back to his cloud watching. How can someone awaken them so early? I thought you needed a life and death situation to awaken them, Sakura said. All of Sasuke's fangirls were well versed in his clan history and powers. After all, they needed to know everything about their love. It's because he's a Jinchuriki, Hinata said, gathering their attention. The civilians and few ignorant shinobi see Naruto as the Kyuubi himself, and when he was young they would gather up and finish the Yandame's job, Hinata said as the genin frowned in understanding. Even they knew the difference between a kunai and the scroll. It was basic academy stuff. When he was 5 years old he was getting chased by mob. From what he told me, one of the pursuers was a chunin and he threw kunais towards him. If he didn't awaken his Sharingan he would have been killed, Hinata explained. I still wonder how he didn't turn out like Gaara, Asuma commented. That was because of Hinata, Kurenai softly said as she looked towards her younger sister of sorts. Me? Hinata asked, confused. Yes, you gave him the thing he needed most, love, Kurenai softly said, proud of Hinata. But Naruto-kun has lots of people that like him. Hinata said, not quite understanding what Kurenai meant. True. He has the Hokage, Iruka, Tuchi, and I am his pervert of a godfather, and Kakashi to some degree, Kurenai said, and Kakashi's sweat dropped. However, you provided him with real, unconditional love. You were his first friend, his best friend, and then his girlfriend. You were there when he was called monster and thrown out of stores. You were there when he walked alone trough the streets. And you there when he was feeling lonely and lost, Kurenai said, and a few fangirls fawned over the dedication, making Hinata slightly blush. When Kakashi heard that, he started giggling like a perverted fanboy until he heard Megan, damnation of the pervert. And instantly Kakashi's world vanished and was replaced with a fiery pit where Kurenai was slowly burning each of Kakashi's Ika books, one at a time. Nunu, my precious! Kakashi yelled, crying anime tears. What's wrong with Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked as she watched Kakashi drool on the floor, yelling random phrases. Just introducing Kakashi to a personal genjutsu, Kurenai said in a very sweet voice that even Sakura, who would most likely safe from her wrath, felt a small shiver. Kurenai broke the genjutsu, and Kakashi slowly rose, glaring at Kurenai while hugging his dear book as if he would slip right through his fingers. He rapidly regained his sense. Do you see now why I said Sasuke would lose? Kakashi asked, and Sakura sadly nodded. After finding out Naruto was a Jinchuriki, and knowing the life he lived, she was feeling bad for treating him badly. Go Sasuke-kun! Sakura yelled for the balcony, cheering for her favorite emo. I guess some habits die hard, Kakashi thought in amusement as he watched the battle unfold at the arena. Naruto and Sasuke were engaged in a brutal display of taijutsu. There was finesse in their style. Each punch, each kick they threw was meant to break bones or at least give the adversary a fair amount of damage and pain. They jumped back from each other. Naruto was pretty much untouched except for a bit of dust. Sasuke, on the other hand, was supporting scrapes, bruises, and a cracked rib. He's as fast as Lee with his weights, Naruto thought. Damn that loser, how does he dare to stand against me, and Uchiha? Sasuke thought. I have enough of this, it's time I show the difference between the original and a copy. Sasuke snarled at the blonde, who raised an eyebrow. I guess he really doesn't know about the pure blood Uchihas. Ironic that he called me a copy, Naruto thought, chuckling. Come Sasuke, let me show how to use the Sharingan. Naruto and both dashed towards each other. Let's see how he deals with this, Naruto said in thought, and his Sharingan started glowing. Both arrived next to each other, and Naruto threw a right hook, and it landed perfectly on Sasuke's jaw. Naruto dodged a retaliatory punch before Naruto sent another punch to the cracked rib, making him wince in pain. Taking advantage of his moment of pain, Naruto threw a set of quick punches to his face and stomach and upper thighs. Naruto, seeing Sasuke slightly dazed from the punches, went for a leg sweep, making Sasuke jump over it. Naruto kept his momentum and continued his spin. As Naruto was finishing his spin, he quickly rose up and gave Sasuke a brutal uppercut, and Sasuke was sent to the ground in pain. Sasuke didn't want a man handled by someone like Naruto and refused to give up or stay down. He charged again at Naruto and suffered the same fate. Sasuke threw a punch. Naruto sidestepped at the last second and gave him an elbow to his back that made Sasuke fall to the ground as he lost his balance. How are you doing this? Sasuke yelled out. He couldn't understand what was happening. Until moments ago, their taijutsu battle was about even, with Sasuke managing to evade almost all of his attacks. He would never admit that Naruto was better than him. Sasuke didn't understand how suddenly Naruto was able to dodge every single hit, and yet every single strike Naruto sent would hit Sasuke dead on. Why should I tell you anything? Naruto replied, which infuriated Sasuke even more if it was possible. Sasuke once again ran towards Naruto, hopping to put the blonde in its proper place. With crowd. What's happening? Naruto suddenly started dominating the battle. Ino yelled, not believing her precious Sasuke-kun would get transformed into a punching bag. Kakashi was also intrigued to what was happening, and he would bet that everyone watching the fight was wondering the same. How could a taijutsu battle become so one-sided so suddenly? Kakashi kept muzzling his head, trying to figure it out when he saw Hinata smiling. You know what's happening, don't you? Kakashi asked Hinata, giving his traditional eye smile. Of course I know, he used the same strategy against me a couple of times, Hinata explained. Then you wouldn't mind explaining what exactly Naruto is doing? Kakashi asked. Use your Sharingan and watch the battle carefully, Hinata said, and Kakashi shrugged his shoulders and did what she said. Kakashi lifted his headband to show his own fully matured Sharingan. It took him a couple of minutes until he noticed it, but he was capable of figuring it out. That's ingenious, Kakashi said, wondering how anyone never thought of that. Looks like you figured it out, Hinata said. What? Tell us what's happening, Sakura said. Kakashi turned to her and noticed that everyone was staring at him and waiting for an answer. His sweat dropped before beginning. The concept is rather simple to understand, however to actually use it in combat would be more tricky. One of the Sharingan's powers is the ability to cast Genjutsu when the enemy crosses eyes with the Sharingan user. Kakashi started as everyone nodded, focusing on his explanation. What Naruto is doing is placing a small Genjutsu every time they exchange blows. Naruto is making Sasuke see false attacks or even hide his attacks, making Sasuke blind to Naruto's real movements. For instance, Naruto made Sasuke see a right hook when in fact it was a left hook, making Sasuke completely exposed. Another example is making Sasuke see that Naruto is on the defensive when in fact he is preparing to throw a kick. Kakashi explained as best as he could. Everyone stared at Kakashi's explanation and stayed in wow at Naruto's skill. Even Kurenai herself, a Genjutsu master, didn't think of that, and even if she did, she wouldn't be able to use it in combat because the only way to induce a Genjutsu without hand seals is with a Dijitsu, which Kurenai wasn't gifted with. You are right, that's ingenious. The kid is a genius. I wonder why he never told me about that, Kurenai pointed out, and Kakashi chuckled. There is a reason why we say to never gaze into the eyes of an Uchiha, Kakashi said, chuckling. Maybe I should try it too, Kakashi thought. Of course he would ask for Naruto's permission to use it. I wonder what name I would call this variant. Maybe Illusion Fist. Yeah, that's a good name, Kakashi thought. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura called out, drawing him out of his thoughts. I thought the Sharingan was able to see Trough Genjutsu, Sakura stated, confused. It can, since I found out what was happening, but if look at Sasuke, Kakashi said, pointing to the field. You would notice that his attacking blindly, his judgment is clouded by so much anger and frustration that he doesn't even realize what is happening, Kakashi said, and Sakura frowned over her. Sasuke-kun, Arena, had enough yet? Naruto asked as he watched Sasuke retreat and make distance between himself and Naruto. I don't know what he's doing, but I can't engage in taijutsu with him anymore. Guess I'll resort to ninjutsu, my chakra reserves are still full, Sasuke thought as he landed from a quick succession of jumps, nursing his cracked rib. I don't know what you are doing and I don't care. I'll show you the Uchiha's fire power, Sasuke said, smirking. Ninjutsu it is, Naruto said before both flashed though the same hand seals and yelled out. Katon, Gakkaku no Jutsu, great fireball technique. Both expelled a fire stream from their mouths that collided in the middle and battled for dominance. Seconds passed and the clash was at a standstill. While the battle for power was going on, Naruto poured more chakra into his flames, transforming them into white hot that completely overrun Sasuke's and made him jump out of the way, otherwise he would get burned to a crisp. Katon, Hosenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Fire Technique, Naruto called out and started sending multiples fireballs, making Sasuke run to dodge almost all of them since he used a kunai and slashed through a few. Katon, Ryuka no Jutsu, Dragon Fire Technique, Naruto said, and instead of multiples fireballs he sent a large stream of fire that covered a good portion of the arena. Sasuke saw the incoming fire and the only thing he could do was jump up, and that he did. Naruto expected him to jump up since it was the logical way to safely dodge his attack. He quickly threw a few shurikens and called out, Shuriken Kagebushin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone. And the few shurikens multiplied into about 50. Sasuke took out a kunai and started deflecting as many as he could, but he was forced to replace himself with a log, otherwise he would be turned into a pincushion for shurikens. Kagebushin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone, Naruto called out, and a single clone poofed into existence. They both were standing to each other before calling their techniques. Futon, Kami no Yuzu, Wind-style Divine Vortex. Naruto's shadow clone called out, and created a vortex of wind in front of him that blasted towards Sasuke. Katon, Ryuka no Jutsu, Dragon Fire Technique, Naruto called out, and released a fire stream that combined with the wind's vortex. Fire/wind collaboration jutsu, Divine Blazing Vortex, they both said at the same time. An enormous vortex of hot flames burned his way to Sasuke fast. Sasuke dodged to the side but still got scorched in his right arm. The vortex continued its path and drilled a good hole in the arena wall before stopping. How can he have so much chakra to throw around jutsus like nothing? Sasuke thought as he analyzed the blazing inferno that Naruto just unleashed. Kage box. Such control over the fire element, the Kazekage said. As expected from members of the Uchiha clan, the Raikage agreed. Yes, they do have rather good control over it, however it isn't Naruto's primary affinity, the Hokage explained. Oh? The Raikage asked, surprised. All members of the Uchiha had a rather high affinity towards fire. And what would be his primary one? He asked. Lightning, and he's rather good with it, the Hokage commented. Raikage raised an eyebrow. After all, lightning attacks were his village's strength. Let's see what he has then, the Raikage said as he turned his attention towards the arena. So he's skilled in lightning, let's see, Darui thought. Darui is the only person in his village to wield the legendary black lightning that was taught to him by the Sandame Raikage and the Yandame Raikage's father, Arena. I'm tired of playing games with you, Sasuke said and activated his curse mark. Immediately as he activated it, he felt a burst of chakra, strength, and speed inside himself. As the black mark started spreading through his skin, covering almost all of his body, he felt like he could take on the world. With this power, I'll grind you to dust, Sasuke said, laughing like a crazy bastard that he is. It's no use, Kurama said, shaking his head. He's bananas, Kurama said, and Naruto chuckled. I told you not to use that power. It consumes you and blinds you, you turn into nothing more than an anger-driven lunatic, Naruto said, and as he expected, Sasuke rejected him, saying that he was jealous of such power. Sasuke ran forward at the top of his speed, but Naruto was able to predict where it would hit him, so he just tilted his head to the side. Sasuke was about to kick him when Naruto started glowing. Shit, Sasuke thought as he didn't have enough time for a kawarimi. Sasuke just jumped back as far as he could and coiled himself with his arms in front of his face, bracing himself. But Naruto's clone exploded and sent Sasuke flying. Sasuke didn't receive much damage, but for a bit of scorched skin. His curse mark and quick reflexes allowed him to block the attack with little to no damage at all. I should have known he knew that variant of his shadow clone jutsu, Sasuke thought, smacking himself for not realizing it. Sasuke was watching Naruto very carefully for any types of move when Naruto suddenly poofed in smoke, revealing it to be a Kaigebushin. Right? Left? Up? Sasuke thought as he searched for said blonde and jumped back just in time to avoid Naruto's hand popping from the ground. You really think I would fall for that? Kakashi-sensei used that during our Genin test, Sasuke explained, but Naruto didn't say anything. Both just stared at each other, plotting their next move. Right on Raikachu, Flash Pillar, Naruto said as flash through hand seals. Just as finished, a very bright light emerged from his hand, blinding Sasuke, who didn't move an inch from his spot, still eyeing Naruto. Sasuke quickly flared his chakra, breaking the genjutsu in an instant. Genjutsu doesn't work against me, Sasuke boasted about his Sharingan. His curse mark kit, Kurama said, snapping Naruto from his thoughts. The curse mark put his chakra in constant fluctuation. Only a very powerful genjutsu would be able to affect him while the mark is active, Kurama explained, and Naruto nodded. Let's try this, Naruto said and eyed Sasuke's eyes. Kokwanji no Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness, Naruto said, and Sasuke's world went black. Sasuke found himself in a dark place. Sasuke couldn't even see his own hands in front of him. It was pure blindness, the biggest fear of Jujutsu users. Ki, Sasuke said, but the technique didn't even waver. Sasuke tried once more, but it failed. Sasuke got pissed and flared as much chakra as he could, and his curse mark glowed. On the third try, Sasuke unleashed a pulse of chakra that cracked the floor and broke his illusion. Sasuke was left panting after releasing that amount of chakra. You are right, Kurama. He even broke an A-rank genjutsu, Naruto said to Kurama. After all, the snake's gifts were useful to something. I told you. Genjutsu is useless against me, Sasuke said, smirking as he popped a soldier pill to regain some chakra. What to do? Naruto mused in thought. He couldn't pull his big weapons, otherwise he might accidentally kill the Sasuke. Something unpredictable, Naruto thought as he chose what he was going to do against him. The Hyugas will have a field day after this. I pity the old man, Naruto chuckled in thought. Naruto raised his right arm facing Sasuke, who raised an eyebrow in confusion. Naruto smiled and said, Hakushu Air Palm. Naruto channeled chakra to his arm and sent an air palm towards Sasuke, who would never expect a Hyuga attack from him, and got hit right in the chest. Naruto's unpredictable attack finally broke Sasuke's cracked rib and made him chuff a bit of blood, but he wouldn't surrender just because of that. He channeled more chakra to the curse mark, trying to get as much as he could. Sasuke disappeared from view and appeared right in front of Naruto. Sasuke sent a kick to his chest, but as surprised when the kick was blocked. Sasuke saw Naruto smiling just before he started spinning in a blue dome of chakra. Kaiten, Naruto said as he spun, blocking Sasuke's kick and sending him flying to the wall. Sasuke should have expected that after seeing Naruto using the air palm, but apparently his arrogance knows no boundaries. Enough, Sasuke roared as pushed as much chakra as he could towards his curse seal, making it completely cover his body. Sasuke dashed forward towards Naruto with tremendous speed. Naruto's eyes widened and he brought his hand just in time to block a straight punch to his face that would mostly likely hurt quite a bit. Man, he picked up speed. I may need to disable my gravity seals, or… Naruto thought as he dodged another fast kick from Sasuke. Chidori Nagashi, Chidori Current. Naruto called out, and his body was enveloped by an electric flow that sparked in every direction. As soon as Naruto unleashed the lightning jutsu, Sasuke was shocked and thrown backwards and left twitching. Damn it! I can't fight in close quarters with him, and he didn't use hand seals for that jutsu, so I can't copy it. Damn that loser! Sasuke thought as he planned another way to approach the blonde without coming in contact with his defensive electric coat. With crowd. I've never seen that one. Hinata said as she activated her Byakugan and watched in wow as the electricity danced and flowed around his body, almost making a protective layer around him. Neither did I. It seems to be derived from my Chidori. Kakashi commented as he watched his brother with pride. You taught him the Chidori? Guy asked, surprised. No, he copied it during a mission and asked me for permission to use it. Since he had the Sharingan and lightning affinity, I didn't see why not, and besides he taught me his own creation, the Kirin Jutsu. Kakashi stated with pride in his little brother. What? He taught you that jutsu? Kiba blurted out. He remembered very well the power of that jutsu as it was imprinted very well in his memory. Yes, he did, but I think I might not be able to use it properly. I still can't gather the energy in the atmosphere and hold it without dispersing. Kakashi explained in a bit of shame. I need to train my lightning affinity further if I want to be able to use that jutsu. He summarized, sighing. Thank God for that. Zabuza said, chuckling. Damn you, Hayashi. One of the elders said. Did you see what you have done? You expelled your daughter instead of sending her to the branch family, and now an outsider knows our clan's best techniques. He said, glaring at the clan head. If I'm not mistaken, you agreed and even pushed for her removal from the clan. Hayashi calmly replied, and the elders scowled. It matters not now. We must find a way to make sure they don't spread out our techniques. One of the elders said. Kagebox, well there you go. A defensive lightning jutsu. The Hokage said, smiling. The Raikage wasn't as happy with the events as he watched him very carefully. That brat, that looks like a bastard version of my lightning armor. The Raikage thought as he analyzed his jutsu to minute detail. He might be able to complete it. At least I'll have another adversary for my speed. The Raikage thought, chuckling. The Raikage was Kumo's most powerful shinobi, and it was a shame he didn't have anyone to compete with. Every single shinobi under his command didn't match up to him. Only his brother Killer Bee stood a chance, and that was because he had the full power of the Hachibi behind him. That's a rather good defensive jutsu. It may not defend against attacks per se, but at least it prevents anyone from coming close to the user. Darui explained as he watched Naruto in a new light. Yes, the Raikage agreed. It looks like you were right, Hokage Dano. He's skilled in lightning jutsus and apparently he can use some Hyuga's moves. The Raikage commented, and the Hokage nodded his head. You forget that Hyuga Hinata is his girlfriend. He was bound to learn her techniques since she isn't tied to the clan. The Hokage explained. That brat. I wonder what more he can do. Maybe I can convince him to join my village. Orochimaru thought. Yes, let's see what more he can do. You intrigue me to no end. Orochimaru thought, salivating and licking his lips in anticipation. Arena. How are you so strong, Naruto? Sasuke asked, finally realizing that the loser in front of him wasn't so weak as he expected. How did that happen? I trained myself to the brink of exhaustion every single day. I hated him, despised him as much as I could. How can that dope be more powerful than me? Sasuke cursed in his thought as he took a few deep breaths to calm himself down. You don't even belong to the Uchiha clan, Sasuke said. Thank God for that, Naruto quickly replied. What? Sasuke asked confused. I awakened my Sharingan at 5 years old, Sasuke, and it was my choice not to go to the Uchiha clan. And I'm glad that I didn't, otherwise I might be 7 feet under right now, Naruto said, shivering at the thought as many in the crowd did. Then help me, Sasuke said, swallowing his pride. He would never ask anyone for help, but a fellow Sharingan user could be of help to him, nothing more. I don't follow, Naruto said, confused to what exactly Sasuke wanted. Help me kill my brother and avenge our family, and let's start the Uchiha clan once again, Sasuke said to the blonde. No. Don't mix me up with the Uchiha clan and your little vendetta. I have nothing to do with it. My father never belonged to the clan, and neither will I. The Uchihas were a bunch of power-arrogant fools who did anything for power, and they felt like gods themselves just because of these precious eyes, Naruto said. Naruto remembered very well the Uchihas when they were alive and kicking. They all thought that the rest of the shinobis were below them, and it wouldn't surprise him if that was their demise. Sasuke seethed his teeth and wanted to argue, but he couldn't really do much. It's true his clan wanted power, and it was true that everyone else was below them. Sasuke kept cursing the blonde's existence until something clicked on his mind. Wait, you said that your father wasn't an Uchiha? Sasuke asked. That's right. My father lived in the village since he was 5 years, and he never belonged to the Uchiha clan, Naruto said, much to the shock of young Sasuke. My father always hid his Sharingan with a genjutsu, much like I did for the last 8 years or so, Naruto explained. If your father didn't belong to the clan, I'd bet he was someone weak who didn't have the honor of being considered one, Sasuke smugly said, trying to get under Naruto's skin. Kakashi himself in the stands wanted to go to the arena and shove a Raikiri into Sasuke's ass for disrespecting his sensei. My father was hero that lost his life during the Kyuubi's attack, so don't disrespect him, Sasuke, Naruto said seriously. Everyone in the stands could feel the tension rising between both of them, and wondered if they would both come out alive. And the reason because my father was never an Uchiha was because he was the son of someone who exiled himself from the clan, Naruto said, wondering if Sasuke would figure it out. Oh shit. Naruto is bringing it out, the Hokage thought as he watched the match with interest. This match would affect the blonde's future much more than he knew. Exiled? But the clan never exiled anyone, Sasuke said, confused as he tried to think about every journal he read about the clan history. Naruto watched Sasuke wrecking his brain trying to find out who exactly left the clan. Sasuke froze as he remembered the one single person that left the clan. The only Sharingan user in the clan history to ever leave the clan, and Konoha for that matter. Why, you can't be, Sasuke said, involuntarily taking a step back. He died in the Valley of the End, Sasuke said, shivering at the thought. Valley of the End? A few people in the crowd asked, not understanding. Looks like you figured it out, Naruto said. Care to tell the crowd who's that person? Naruto asked. There is only one person to ever leave the clan. Uchiha Madara, Sasuke gulped and said, and Naruto smirked, knowing he got into his head. That's right, Sasuke. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, grandson of the legendary Uchiha Madara, Naruto stated out loud as his hair flowed with the wind and his Sharingan spinning like crazy. Naruto discreetly made a Kage Bushin hinged into Madara's shimmer into existence behind Naruto. Everyone could see the similarities between both of them. The hairstyle, the strong jawline and general shape of the face, the Sharingan, and the aura of power they both seemed to exude. Poor Sasuke didn't know what to think of the supposed dobe and dead last of the academy. He was the grandson of the most powerful Uchiha to live. Kagebox. What? The Kazekage. Orochimaru yelled out from the balcony, jumping from his seat as he stared at the blonde. Careful, Orochimaru, or you might blow your cover, the Hokage said in his thought. Your lust for power and immortality will be your downfall. Unbelievable. To think Madara would have a son and later on a grandson, the Raikage commented. Wait a minute, the Raikage thought as he looked towards the unsurprised Hokage and Jiraiya. You said his hair looked like Madara's. You didn't know how right you were, Darui said, lightly chuckling. You knew about this, didn't you? The Raikage asked, almost rhetorically, looking towards the Hokage and Jiraiya. I'm the Kage of this village, don't you think I would know? The Hokage replied. Though if Naruto didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known, he thought, chuckling to himself. You lied to me, Hokage Dano. You know very well who his parents are, don't you? The Raikage asked. Perhaps I was economical with the truth, yes, the Hokage said and chuckled lightly. I don't suppose you will tell me? The Raikage fished around the Hokage for information. In time. I will make it public knowledge when Naruto chooses it, the Hokage replied. To think that Minato was an Uchiha and the son of Madara himself, Orochimaru thought as he gritted his teeth. With the blood of the most powerful Uchiha within my grasp, I'll attain my final objective. I can no longer afford to kill the brat, though I wonder what else he's hiding. Orochimaru thought that brat was a gold mine. With crowd, no way, Sakura gasped. Unbelievable, Ino said. Like I said, troublesome blondes. Shikamaru thought, no longer watching the clouds and focusing on the fight. Apparently the fight itself wasn't troublesome anymore. I think we might have made a mistake, Hayashi said, gulping with a dry throat. At least your daughter picked a worthy husband. If we incorporate the blood of such an Uchiha in our clan, we surely will become the most powerful and influential one in the elemental nations. Even if it was someone like Madara, one of the Hyuga's elders said. Yes, Hayashi. It's of vital importance you bring your daughter back to the clan. Without the caged bird seal, she can become the heiress. Offer her that. Another elder replied. Do I mean anything other than a powerful heiress? Do they even care about me, or do they only care about the power of the clan? Hanabi asked with her head lowered as she overheard the elders speaking. That brat, Asuma said, chuckling. Kurenai-sensei, Sakura called out, getting her attention. Did you know he was Madara's grandson? She asked. No, Sakura, I didn't know. Kurenai replied and turned towards Hinata. Did you know Hinata? Kurenai asked. Of course, Kurenai-sensei, we know everything about each other. Hinata replied, and Kakashi broke out in a fit of giggles, but a glare from Kurenai silenced him quickly enough. I think only the Hokage, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and I know about his true heritage. Hinata explained. Jiraiya? Sakura asked. Jiraiya the Toad Sage is his godfather. Hinata replied, and Sakura's jaw hit the floor. Is he related to any other powerful shinobi? Sakura asked, not believing the so-called Dobe was the grandson of one of the most powerful shinobi to ever live and the godson one of the Sanins. If only you knew. Hinata replied in thought. In time he will reveal himself to the world. Hinata replied. Per Uchiha. Zabuza said, chuckling, and many agreed. It looked like Sasuke's fate was sealed. Arena Sasuke broke free from his thoughts. He wouldn't let him have his way with him. I don't care who you are, I'll defeat you right here. Sasuke spat. You are a hypocrite, Sasuke. You say you don't care who I am, and yet you boast about being an Uchiha. Naruto said, and both prepared to end their battle. Shut up. Sasuke yelled out, with his curse mark flaring even more. I'm ending this right now. Sasuke said. Ox, rabbit, monkey, dragon, rat, bird, ox, snake, dog, tiger, monkey. Sasuke went through the hand seals and placed his hand down with his other gripping the wrist. Lightning could be seen forming in his palm. Suddenly the lightning chakra spiked and sounded like 1,000 birds chirping. With crowd, wow, so that's the Chidori. Sakura said in awe. That's the power of the Uchiha clan. Sakura said, entering her usual fangirl style. So you taught him the Chidori? Guy asked. Yes. Sasuke is very similar to me and Naruto himself. They both have the Sharingan and both have lightning affinities. Kakashi explained. You don't seem worried, Kakashi-sensei, Ino said. That's because Naruto also knows that technique. The jutsu he used earlier was based on that one, but I don't know if he's going to use it or anything else. Kakashi explained. Arena. So Kakashi-sensei taught you the Chidori? Naruto stated as he watched the Chidori sparkle in Sasuke's hand. That was a risk on his part. You are too unstable, Naruto said. Shut up, Sasuke yelled as he dashed towards Naruto, intending to end his life one and for all. I always wondered how the Rasengan would hold up against the Chidori. Let's try it, Naruto thought as he ran towards Sasuke as well. Everyone in the audience could hear a swirling sound as the chakra started spinning in Naruto's hand. Moments later it emerged in his hand, a small blue sphere, and many knew what it was. Chidori, Rasengan, both attacks clashed and the ground shook from energy being released. Everyone in the audience stared in awe at the power of both genins. The attacks were fighting for supremacy. Sparkles of pure electricity were ripping the ground apart. Some of the people had to turn away from the bright light being emitted from the clash. The clash suddenly ended as both were propelled backwards through the air. Sasuke stumbled into the ground while Naruto regained his balance mid-air and landed on the ground, but hard enough for it to crack. "Looks like the Rasengan and the Chidori are about even," Naruto said as he eyed the results of their clash. Naruto looked at Sasuke, who was getting back up. He looked like he was exhausted. He was breathing hard and his arm had a couple of cuts and bruises that were bleeding. "I can't clash it against that jutsu since I can only do it twice a day," Sasuke thought as his breathing was labored. "Damn that," Sasuke thought, but was interrupted when Naruto said, "Loser." "What?" they both said at the same time. "Are you," Sasuke said, "reading my mind?" Naruto completed and Sasuke watched Naruto's Sharingan glow and start spinning. "I've looked into your future and its defeat," Naruto said, making Sasuke boil. Sasuke flashed through the same hand seals, completely discarding the fact he could only do it one more time. "Looks like it will be his last attack. His chakra reserves are almost empty," Naruto thought as he watched Sasuke with his Sharingan. Both ran forward intending to clash one final time, however Naruto had a different idea. To any other spectator, the clash that was about to ensue was pretty much like the previous, with Sasuke wielding a Chidori and Naruto a Rasengan. However, the moment they were about to clash, Naruto activated his EMS, without letting Sasuke see it, otherwise he would fuss about it, and phased right through Sasuke, who still had his Chidori active. "What the hell is he?" were Sasuke's thoughts as he watched Naruto pass right through him with his Chidori activated. It's like Naruto turned into water and Sasuke flew right through it. The moment they separated, Naruto quickly turned back and slammed his Rasengan into Sasuke's back, and he was sent flying into the wall and ended in the ground, barely awake. Cough H, how cough can you be so cough strong? Sasuke barely asked as he noticed the blonde approaching him. "Because I fight to protect." "I know what you fight for, Sasuke," Naruto said, pausing. "You fight for vengeance, and you train in order to be strong enough to kill your brother," Naruto said, and watched Sasuke glaring at him before continuing. "But if you want to truly be strong, then train, fight and die for your precious people. Drop your attitude and find someone to care for, and then your true strength will be revealed," Naruto concluded, and watched Sasuke close his eyes and embrace the sweet unconsciousness. Hate quickly hurried towards Sasuke and poked him with a stick. Sasuke made no sound as he was completely out. "Medics!" Hate yelled, and immediately a couple of medics entered the arena and placed Sasuke in a stretcher to be brought to the infirmary. "Winner by knockout, Uzumaki Naruto," Hate called out, smiling at the blonde brat. He never liked the Uchiha much. Hate declared the winner, and an intense silence followed afterwards. Not even birds could be heard as Sasuke was being carried to the infirmary. Naruto left the arena and was walking towards the balcony when crowds suddenly erupted in cheers, bringing a small smile to our blonde. "There will a 30-minute break until the next round begins," Hate explained. "Kagebox, the will of fire burns brightly in him. I only wish you were here to see him, Minato," the Hokage sadly thought. "Not an apprentice, my ass. If I'm not mistaken, that was the Rasengan," the Raikage said. "Well, I did teach him a few things," Jiraiya said, chuckling a bit nervously and rubbing the back of his head. "To see a genin using that jutsu, amazing," the Kazekage commented. "That Orochimaru must be interested in Naruto since he has the Sharingan as well, so much greed," the Hokage thought in shame. "Your thoughts on the match and the promotions," the Hokage said. "Naruto easily deserves Chunin rank. He stayed calm and came up with different strategies to counter the opponent's strengths. Besides, he's strong on his own," the Raikage said, and the Kazekage agreed with the Raikage's reasoning. "Chunin it is." "What about Sasuke?" the Hokage asked. "He doesn't deserve the Chunin rank. Even though he has the strength, he was unable to keep his head cool, and I seem to agree with the Uzumaki. He seems a bit unstable," the Kazekage explained. "If Sasuke believes the village is holding him back, it will be another reason for him to join me," Orochimaru thought. "I agree. Even though there were some revelations, he should have tried to keep his head calm and focused," the Raikage agreed, eyeing the Hokage and Jiraiya. "It's decided then," the Hokage said. With crowd. "I didn't know Naruto was that talented," Izumo said. "Yes, who would think the brat that we used to see being chased by ANBU was that good?" Kotetsu said. "At his rate he will be Jounin before us," Izumo said, chuckling. Everyone watched the blonde making his way up the stands as he approached his fellow friends and senseis. Naruto realized that they were all staring at him and asked, "Is there something on my face? Is that all you have to say after what you told everyone?" Ino screeched out. It was a secret for a reason, and you now know. What's the big deal? Naruto said, shrugging them off. Big deal? You're the grandson of Uchiha Madara and you have a Sharingan, Ino stated out loud, having her arms. Yes, so? I had to work hard to be this strong. The Sharingan helped, but I had to train as well, Naruto said. And besides, having a strong family doesn't make you strong, Naruto explained. Congratulations, Naruto-kun, Hinata said and pecked his cheek, making him rub the back of his head. Thanks, Hinata-chan, Naruto replied, hugging her. Keep up the good work, brat. I've already made good money with you, Zabuza said, grinning. Were the odds against me that bad? He asked. 20-1. Everyone came here to see the Uchiha win, Zabuza said, laughing at crowd until he realized something. Well, the Uchiha did win, Zabuza said, pointing to him. At least now everyone knows and I don't have to hide it anymore, Naruto said. Thank you, Naruto, Sakura said. She was happy that Naruto didn't cripple or hurt Sasuke too much. He needed a good reality check. He thought he was Kami on Earth because of those eyes, and who better than another one to show him, Naruto said.